And good morning. It is a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. And I have no idea how this is going to go today. We are live today from the Shirley Povich Sports Journalism Summer Camp at the Philip Merrill College of Journalism here at the University of Maryland, where I am intimidated because I'm not sure that the word sports journalism and this show go in the same sentence, if I'm being totally honest with you. We're not used to, Griffin, doing a show in front of, like, we do the show for the audience. By the way, your camera is not, nobody is watching you or Kaitlyn or anyone. But if you wanted a good look at a whiteboard, you could have just gotten it right now. We would have given you a hell of a look at it. You do the show for a live audience, but not a live audience like this typically. So I'm a little bit afraid that we're gonna get like jeered.
Oh yeah,
that some of these kids might throw stuff at us.
I wasn't thinking about that until you just mentioned it.
Somebody said earlier that they were a Cowboys fan, and like I hate the Cowboys, so I'm just afraid that they might throw something. Actually, you know what? There were a couple of Eagles fans in here. They're definitely going to throw something at me during the course of the show. That's what they do. That's the way it goes. So we're going to have fun today. It's going to be a little bit of a different show. And the reason why we're here is because my friend Kaitlyn Wilson asked us to come down here. And Kaitlyn's going to spend a couple of minutes with us here at the top of the show. She is the assistant director of the Povich Sports Journalism. Actually, make sure I have that correct, Kaitlyn. Because, again, all of these are very complicated things and names and titles. What is your title and the actual title of the Sports Journalism Center?
So I am the assistant director of the Shirley Povich Sports Journalism Center here at the Philip Merrill College of Journalism. It's a mouthful.
It is a lot.
And I also
There's not going to be a test later, right? Like, these kids need to remember that.
Yeah.
There's no chance that I'm going to.
I also serve as the camp director for our summer camp every year. So I put together the camp and run the camp and oversee all the camp operations.
So who's here? Who are these young people that are hanging out with us today?
So these are high schoolers, as students entering grades 9 through 12. Most of them are from the Maryland, Virginia, D.C. area.
And yet there were like 3 Orioles fans in the entire crowd, which
terrible.
is really depressing for me. Very depressing.
We have a couple of out of state, too. I know we have a Vermont.
Who's here from Vermont?
All the way from Vermont.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think we have a Connecticut, right? Yes.
Wow. I'll probably end up working at ESPN in like 3 years.
Yes, probably. Of course, that's all what they want to do.
I will be begging that young man for a job at any point in the next couple of... please remember my name. It's Glenn Clark. I'm really nice. I'm better looking in... No, I can't say that. You're here in person. Never mind. No, but these are all young people that want to be sports journalists.
That are interested in sports journalism, and hopefully this week won't talk them out of it.
What about the part where I tell them they're not going to make any money?
Yeah.
What about that part?
We talk a little bit about that throughout
We had
the
that
week,
conversation about, like, it might be fun. There's going to be a lot of fun, but boy, you are going to be grinding for some time.
Yeah.
Kaitlyn was previously my boss. She was the editor at Pressbox. And I want to go back, if we could, because I feel like when I first arrived, so people that don't know my background, these kids have no idea what my background is. I was in sports radio for forever. And then one day I woke up and I went to do my afternoon show on a sports radio station in Baltimore. And I walked into the door and they said, "We're not a sports radio station anymore." And I said, "Well, that's weird because that's what I do for a living. So I'm not really sure what that means for me." And they said, "No, it means you're no longer needed here." I said, "Oh, cool. What do I do now?" And I was married and I had a kid on the way, and my Mrs. Clark had no interest in moving to any of these cities where I had job offers. I was like, "Oh, baby, I could move to Vegas. We could move to Louisville. We could move to San Diego." She said, "No, you could do that by yourself if you'd like, but I have no interest." So I said, "All right, I'm going to have to do something different." And that's how we started the idea of Glenn Clark Radio. And a friend of ours, John Colson at Pressbox, we connected with him and he said, why don't we do this together? Why don't we launch this together? And then I was dumped on your lap.
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, when I was dumped on your lap, you were mostly like, "What is this?"
Yes.
Right? Like, it was mostly take me through, like, the first time you were told, "This is a thing now, you have to deal with this."
That's probably exactly how it went down. There wasn't a lot of communication for being a communication business. I always used to joke about that often. No, but yes, Glenn was dropped on my lap. and I was very unsure of what to expect.
I remember
from him.
that part well. I remember that part quite well.
But however, I remember being quickly blown away by how hard of a worker Glenn is and the guests he was able to bring in. And
Don't judge that today. Don't judge that today.
And I will say that Glenn is responsible for one of my coolest career moments. And when you brought in Kyle Snyder, was that his name?
Yeah, Olympic gold medalist.
Kyle Snyder.
Yep.
Was he a wrestler at Maryland?
He was
from Maryland.
He was from Carroll County, correct.
Yes.
He was from Carroll County.
He came into the studio after the Olympics with his gold medal, and I got to put his gold medal around my neck and take a picture with him.
It was one of those awkward moments where I could tell you wanted to.
I did, and I didn't want to ask.
Exactly right.
Painfully shy.
This is the way it works.
Professional not to ask.
A lot of
for a
times in our
selfie.
business where you're like, we don't want to do that. You're not supposed to do that.
Glenn made me come in, and I got to meet Kyle, and I got to try on the medal, and from then I was a Glenn Clark fan, and I was
That was the one. That was the moment?
Yeah.
That is so weird to me that was the moment. I've introduced Griffin to no gold medalists so far. In fact, whenever I have them hanging around, I purposely leave him out. So, sorry, yeah.
Really?
No, Carmelo and I were just out for dinner the other night, and I was like, maybe, nah.
I could have worn my Mellow
pass on
jersey
that.
and all.
Asked me to tell you some stories about another gold medalist I know, but we can't tell them on air. We cannot tell them on air. There's a certain very famous gold medalist, maybe the most decorated gold medalist in Olympics history, and I've got a few stories about that guy, but we
Sure
cannot
we do.
tell them here on this show. So they're here learning about the business.
Yes.
They are all. Do you have a sense for, like, do they want to write? Do they want to be on TV?
We asked them yesterday. There's a lot of people that want to be on SportsCenter.
Who wants to be on SportsCenter?
Being shy. A lot of people that want
Okay.
to work for ESPN. A lot of Scott Van Pelt's in here. So I think that's good.
Who wants to do, like, social media?
Have some of that.
Okay. Who wants to be like a traditional writer? All right, so it's a little bit of a mix. I see that. A little bit of a mix of everything.
So we'll give them a taste of all of that.
You didn't tell them that, like, the New York Times shut down their sports department yesterday,
no, we
did
didn't
you?
talk about that.
Yikes. All the weeks.
Yes.
All the weeks for that
Welcome
to happen.
to journalism.
Yeah, not fun. All right, so we're going to be here for the next 2 hours. I'm going to do a little bit of my show, like my normal show. We're going to talk about the home run derby.
Yes. Yeah,
God,
well,
is
yeah,
not
it was
not
a
for
disappointing ending.
me. Who'd you bet on? Why were you disappointed?
Bet on Adley.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, you were disappointed. We'll talk about the home run derby. We'll talk about some of the other things that were going on, and then we're going to incorporate these young people. Anybody up for, like, debating me? Anybody think they're like their own Shannon Sharp? Yeah. All right. We'll have some fun with that.
My money's on them.
You're probably right. I get very bored with debate. After a little while, I just sort of say, you know what? I'm right, you're wrong. That's the way that it goes. It's sort of like when I play poker. Is there something that we can tell people about the Povich School or the Povich Center, the Merrill School? Can we get a plug-in of some sort, Kaitlyn?
Yes, absolutely.
The camp?
Yes. So Merrill College here, located just outside of D.C., is one of the best, if not the best, journalism school in the country. And we are fortunate to have the Povich Center that advocates for sports journalism. We do all sorts of programming around sports journalism, different events throughout the year, which you can get on our website at povichcenter.org or follow us on Twitter at Povich Center. And we also offer sports journalism classes. And any interest in coming to our events or becoming Merrill Made, you can reach out to us and find out more information.
What if you were 40 years old and maybe need to, like, fine-tune your skills because they've slipped a bit or the industry has changed drastically? Kaitlyn, when I was in college, I was learning to edit video on actual tape.
Yes. When I was in college, there was a print media track. Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be one of those much longer.
Now
I
it's
don't think-
multi-platform.
Okay,
so.
I'm about to ask a question that I'm terrified by. How many people in this room have never opened up a newspaper in their life? Okay, there's only one that put their hand up, and I don't know if that's just because everybody else doesn't want to say it out loud, but that is still terrifying that there's even one. That's the reality, though. How many people haven't opened up a newspaper for any actual purpose of reading, but only because, like, it was to put their, I don't know, you're having crabs at home, and so you had to put some newspaper out. Yeah, okay, now a few more hands come up, right? That's the only reason why anybody has newspaper any longer. It's the only reason why we have newspaper in my house at this point. That's the reality, right?
Yes.
And you're teaching about how things are changing.
It is. It's an ever-changing industry, and I think despite some of the setbacks, especially with the New York Times yesterday, journalism is not going away. It's essential to democracy. And sports journalism, there's always going to be interest in sports.
Can you and I'm sure you are familiar with the story of what happened at Northwestern in the last week, right?
Yes.
Student journalists
Held them accountable.
at Northwestern were the reason why that story was uncovered and why we learned about really heinous things that were happening within their football program. And, there's look, whatever opinion somebody wants to have, we found out late last night Pat Fitzgerald has been fired as the football coach at Northwestern, but that story was not uncovered by ESPN or by, The Athletic. It was uncovered by student journalists.
Only a couple years older than the
Correct.
in this room.
I mean, the same age as your counselors,
Yes.
right? Like your counselors are the same people that are uncovering that story. And even here at Maryland, we're only a few years removed from obviously the horrible situation that was Jordan McNair's passing and the follow-up. It was interesting. Kaitlyn, I'm going to have you hang for a second because you can reflect on this a little bit. I saw a lot in this week coming out of people in our business. I think Darren Rovell being one of the most famous ones, and he's kind of a caricature at this point and less a journalist. But they didn't want to say anything mean about Pat Fitzgerald because, we like Pat Fitzgerald. I like that guy. He's been a good guy to me. And it's a very difficult moment because it took me back to when everything was unraveling and after Jordan McNair passed, and I had this very pleasant relationship with DJ Durkin at the time. DJ Durkin was a regular on my show. He had been making strides within this community and getting kids to commit, and there was a lot of positive things that were, Stephon Diggs, right? Like there were a lot of positive things that were coming out in the time that DJ Durkin was the coach. In fact, he had been very helpful to me. I did a lengthy story about him welcoming former Maryland coach Ralph Friedgen back to campus that we didn't think might ever happen. Ralph Friedgen famously, once upon a time, came on my radio show and said he had burned his Maryland diploma, and it set the world on fire, and everybody was angry after he had been fired or dismissed here at the University of Maryland. And DJ Durkin went out of his way, said, I want Ralph Friedgen to be back. I found out about it, and DJ and Ralph and I sat down for a very lengthy story, and I was very appreciative of that connection. And it was a reminder in these moments that as a journalist, it is your job, it is your responsibility to acknowledge whatever, feelings you have. Don't lie about it. But yet you have to be capable of just simply looking for truth and facts, and not use that emotion to cloud your judgment of whatever might be going on. What was happening with Maryland football was unacceptable, to say the least. It was grotesque what was going on within the program. It was terrifying. And yet, at that moment, after the story broke, our job was to talk to people. Let's find out as much information as we possibly can about this subject. And it's difficult because it's funny. We're just kind of joking about how, you're not supposed to take a picture with the guy that's wearing a gold medal. The reason why you say that is because, at some point we might have to write about something that's not so pleasant about that person. And so it's important to be able to stay as neutral as you possibly can whenever you're covering somebody.
Yes.
And I don't, it's not easy because you're human and you have relationships and you like people. If somebody asked me to say something mean about Griffin, well, actually, that would be very easy. He's terrible. He's just the worst person I've ever met. But I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't be looking forward to it. I would have no interest in it. But I think that's an important lesson that's being reminded right now in the midst of what's going on at Northwestern, that you have to be capable of remaining totally and completely neutral. Even when you've got background and relationship, you've got to be capable of just looking at facts.
Yeah, absolutely. I was working at Press Box when the Jordan McNair happened, and I remember coming up with a plan of how we were going to cover it. And I graduated from this school. I love this school. I grew up rooting and having season tickets to football games and all of that. So yes, it is hard to kind of separate sometimes the fan from the job, but that's what you have to do when those things happen. And then I ended up coming to work here during that first season when they let Durkin go, and it was just chaos on campus. It was rough. People were angry. People were heartbroken. But again, it was student journalists leading the charge. The Diamondback did a fantastic job of covering that. That whole tragedy. We've had some of those reporters back speaking at camp before. And come back to speak at classes. One of them is now the Orioles beat reporter for the Baltimore Banner. They were the ones breaking those stories and doing amazing work.
And
on
it was
that.
it was important.
Yeah,
Again,
covering
so-
their classmates.
I joke sometimes about I don't know that we need as many people to be writing about the home run derby, right? Like it's kind of but when stuff like this happens, when you find out that you're doing terrible things with young people and you're not prepared for someone to go into heat stroke and you don't know what to do, this is a public university that we pay tax dollars to. We have to cover that story. We have to be on top of it and know that the things are getting taken care of. And obviously things have changed dramatically, and I think the relationship between Mike Loxley and the McNair family is quite beautiful, frankly. And the way that they've shown grace to the university and the way the McNair family have said we want to be – there's now federal, in fact, legislation to try to make sure that something like this never happens again. There was already state legislation that was passed, the Jordan McNair Safe and Fair Play Act, here in Maryland, which was led by Brooke Learman, who's now the comptroller of the state of Maryland, but now Kwesi Mfume has introduced it at a federal level, and that's the type of stuff that's important. Like when sports journalism, we can laugh about some of the other stuff and debate shows and tweeting and Skip Bayless and all that nonsense, but that type of stuff is really important. So I encourage you guys to continue on the path because of things like that.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
No, I'm excited to be here. I just want to toot Glenn's horn a little bit because I know he won't do it himself. But one of the reasons why I asked Glenn to be here, other than the fact that I enjoy his work, is that Glenn is a grinder. He works so hard to make this show what it is. It is his blood, sweat, and tears in this show, and he books some amazing guests, which I know it's a tough time of year and a tough week. But I have received awesome opportunities thanks to the guests Glenn has able to book on his show. Our publication was better for the guest Glenn gets to book on his show, and it's all a testament to his hard work and the grind, which is if you want to make it in this industry, that's how you have to do it. So I'm excited for you guys to get to spend the next 2 hours or so with Glenn and learn a little bit from him.
Very cool. Kaitlyn, I'm really happy to be here. I hope I don't screw things up too much over the course of the next 2 hours. I hope I don't say anything I'm not supposed to say. We'll do our best in all of those departments, and it's great to see you more than anything.
Great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
So let's get into it. From last night, obviously, Griffin, the home run derby. Adley Rutschman hits 27 home runs, and it was neat, right? It was a neat show. Admittedly, it's not for me. It's not my thing, the home run derby. But I enjoyed it. Adley Rutschman goes and gets this bonus time and switches over and hits right-handed and hits another 7 home runs. I will admit that the reaction that I got from a few people, I was out in an establishment last night watching, and the reaction that I got from a few people was, that was fun, but I'm kind of glad he got eliminated quickly there afterwards, because now you eliminate any risk of
his swing getting messed up,
whatever
and
that dumb thing is.
Whatever happens.
I don't think much of that, but for whatever it's worth, since I didn't care if he won or not, unlike you, who clearly apparently lost some money, here's a lesson today. Don't bet with Griffin. That's a lesson.
No.
If you're in this business, you probably shouldn't be betting at all, but don't bet with Griffin is lesson number one.
Well, I just probably shouldn't have been betting the home run derby.
Yeah,
to be honest,
you might have a problem.
Yeah,
you might need to seek help.
No. I wasn't. It was
Says the guy that once bet on Ukrainian ping pong.
Yeah, there we go. There it is.
Happen.
But yeah, the switch hitting thing I thought was incredible.
It was neat.
That was
really
that was
neat.
very fun. The thing that made me, I guess, more upset was that I don't like the new rule format. I think they should. I don't like the
new rule?
I don't like the head-to-head. Adley should have been into the second round.
Oh, because he had more home runs.
Yeah, because he had more home runs than
yeah,
just
right.
about everybody but Luis Robert.
Yeah, that guy was
not
nuts.
Julio.
Julio Rodriguez had 50 in the first. It was insane.
41.
Vladimir Guerrero ends up winning the home run derby. God bless. That's all I've got for that. I just don't. But it was neat. It was a fun show. It was a special moment. Obviously, that Adley had grown up in the Pacific Northwest, and we've talked about that before. He's had a lot of family whenever they've gone to Seattle. He's from Oregon. They had shown on the broadcast all the pictures of him competing when as a kid at Safeco Field. And admittedly, when they announced he was in the home run derby, I had forgotten all of that. I had completely blanked on that being part of the story and why it was so neat for him to do that.
Yeah, I got a nice pop when they announced him, at the very beginning. There were a couple O's when they played the national anthem. Which
I didn't think there were a lot of people out there, but yes, there was a little
there were
bit.
a couple O's.
There was a
so
little
it was good
bit.
to see the O's fans travel a bit. And, you're probably right. It's for the best that Adley didn't,
Correct.
have to overexert
Just move
himself.
on.
We'll see who has the better second half, Vladdy or
Yeah,
or
I definitely
Adley.
think Adley Rutschman's going to hit way more home runs than Vlad Guerrero. That guy's a bum. That guy stinks. All right, so the big story yesterday in Baltimore sports, however, was the dumbest video that I've ever seen in the history of Twitter.
Yes.
I am loath. Right, I know what you're thinking to yourself is we should probably play it, but I'm also loath to do that because it's funny. We're sitting here in a journalism camp, and what this is maybe we should play because it's an example of what isn't journalism, although I'm not sure any of the kids will hear this audio, unfortunately. There's a guy whose name is Dave Mahler, and he's a radio host in Seattle. And this guy was very worked up because the Orioles on Twitter about a week ago tweeted out about Felix Bautista and called him King Felix. And this guy got in his feelings. Must have an amazing life. Like, must just have the best life you could ever possibly imagine to have room to be worked up about this tweet. If you don't understand why, it is, of course, because Felix Hernandez, former Mariners pitcher, likely Hall of Famer, was known as King Felix. Do you have it? Do you want to?
I do.
For God's sakes. I'm not sharing this because I want this guy to get any more attention, because I almost want the exact opposite, but it's only for the purposes of our ability to talk about it. So this guy, Dave Mahler, is at Media Day at the MLB All-Star Game, where they make all of the players available and they allow any journalist in attendance, any media member in attendance, to basically have carte blanche, all access. It's not quite like the Super Bowl Media Day, which is it's become a reality show over the years, but it's something like that. The idea is you can just ask whatever you want. And for whatever reason, this guy decided to go after Felix Bautista at Media Day. Here's what it sounded like.
Hey, Felix, what do you think of the Orioles calling you the new King Felix?
I don't know.
Would you rather have him stop that? Does that belong to Felix Hernandez?
Yeah.
It does. Okay, so do us a favor as Mariner fans. Tell the Orioles social media team to knock it off, will you?
Okay, so that's let's break this down, right? It starts with him approaching Felix Bautista and saying, "What do you think of the Orioles social media calling you King Felix?" Which in and of itself, while who cares, is the answer that I would say. Like, imagine this being what you're worked up. Is there nothing else? I get it. It's a difficult week for those kids that are here. If you get into this business, this is a tough week. It's a tough week. There's no games being played. There's nothing going on. Everybody's on vacation. The NBA is just playing summer league games. The NFL's movement has already happened.
At least we got Wembanyama, you know.
There is that. And by the way, I'm obsessed with, of course, Christopher Eubanks at Wimbledon.
Right,
I couldn't get enough of that, but unfortunately, that's not right. Yeah, my guy. That's right. I like this kid. This is my favorite kid in the room now. He's freaking out with me about Christopher Eubanks at Wimbledon. I'm into it, but not everybody else is into it. So maybe there's just nothing else to talk about in Seattle, right? Maybe they're sick of talking about whether or not Pete Carroll knows what to do on fourth down. Like, maybe they're sick of that, and this is just all they have in Seattle to talk about. But I would start with that. Alone, that question is not the end of the world. If the video just ends and all the guy did was say, "Hey, Felix, what do you think about the Orioles calling you King Felix?" there would be something there, right? Maybe Felix Bautista wants to say something like, "You know what, man, I love Felix Hernandez. I would kind of rather not have that name." Now, the difficult part is Felix Bautista is not a particularly good English speaker.
Exactly. That's why it felt so.
That's part of why it felt that way. But then it goes on, of course, and then he compounds that mostly nothing by following up. So you would rather have the Orioles not do that anymore. Okay, again, that alone, not that big of a deal. But the last part is where this guy, I'm just going to, shows his ass, right? Like, that's what happens, is that at the end, this guy then says, "So on behalf of all Mariners fans, tell the Orioles to knock it off." What is that? That'll be a lesson for today. That guy probably shouldn't have media access, because that guy's acknowledging he's just a fan. That line that Kaitlyn was just talking about a second ago, in that moment, was immediately blurred. On behalf of all Mariners fans, tell the guy, whoa, what the hell does that have to do with your job here? It's embarrassing on a number of levels, and that's the most embarrassing part of it. As if Felix Bautista has something to do with what the person running the Orioles Twitter account said on Twitter. Now, for what it's worth, we all had fun with this immediately afterwards, and I put out a silly picture of Felix Bautista and Adley Rutschman, and I said, hey, look, it's King Felix and the kid, right?
Right,
Just to try to needle.
I think it was
a little
Austin Hayes called him the kid yesterday.
Did he?
On Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh, that's so perfect. I'm so glad he did that, just to try to needle him. And now the embarrassing part is I think more Orioles fans are going to attempt to steal King Felix.
Right.
As if Felix Batista doesn't already have a nickname that we've been using over and over again. I'm not a big nickname guy. It's not my thing, and I wouldn't care. I bring it to a secondary question. Look, this guy deserves every ounce. I would encourage you when you're dunking on something that when you're sharing it, you're still giving it light. And this guy, who is a clown, who is a carnival barker, was reveling in that yesterday. He was reveling in how many people had clicked play. That's the new, way that we do things, is how many people view something, how many people play a video. This guy was reveling in it yesterday, and look at how many views, and look at because that's who he is. He has no value to the media system. I would encourage you that you can dunk on something or make an opinion about something without sharing it, because sharing is like the new economy. The way that it works now is how many plays do you have, how many views do you have. But I add on to that this question, and it's a question that I wanted to put out on Twitter, and I just haven't had an opportunity to think through it. Would we be bothered? It's a genuine question. So I had a few Mariners fans after I put out that silly picture yesterday. I had a few Mariners fans that reached back and had some fun with me, and most of them took it in jest, and most of them think this guy is a D-bag, so, I had no problem with that. But I had one who said something like, yeah, right, and we've got Suarez. He's the human vacuum cleaner, which, of course, was Brooks Robinson's nickname once upon a time. And I asked that to say, if a baseball player played every game for the next 2 seasons and somebody started calling him the Iron Man, how would we feel?
Yeah, we would not.
And I'm not trying to make it, I'm not trying to justify this guy, he's a clown, right? I'm not trying to justify what he did in any way. I want to make that abundantly clear. I'm trying to have a separate, don't lump these things together. This guy's a clown. What he did is embarrassing, and he probably shouldn't be allowed to be in these circumstances. But let's have an actual conversation for a second, because I've never thought about this before.
Right.
I've never considered what my emotions would be if we attached a nickname to someone, and that was someone that was revered and beloved as an athlete, and then someone else started using that nickname. I have no idea what I would think about that.
Right, and I think it's also a little. Felix Hernandez and Cal Ripken aren't. They've had very different careers. I guess Felix Hernandez will be.
I think he's a Hall of Famer, 100%.
Yeah.
No, he's not one of the greatest.
Right. Cal Ripken.
He was certainly one of the great players of his era. He is not going to have anything that people attach to the way that Cal Ripken had the streak, the way that, there won't be something like that with Felix Hernandez. But Felix Hernandez is a Hall of Fame caliber player, an Orioles legend,
Seattle,
of course.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Legend, Felix
the
Hernandez.
2 weeks. But how would we feel? And it's just there is no incorrect answer here.
I don't think Baltimore
know.
fans. I don't think they would be happy. I don't think we would be happy at all. I'm trying to think of what a good
if
example.
Mookie Betts played every game for 3 straight seasons, and suddenly in LA they started saying, "Well, Mookie Betts is the Iron Man
because he played 380 games straight."
Your math is not good, pal. We need to really work on that. Is there a math camp here at Maryland that we can send? Next door, we're going to send you. I said 3 straight years.
Oh, well, you said 2 straight years first, and then
I just said 3. It wouldn't work for 2 either. That'd be 320. You've missed on every account, but other than that, you nailed it.
480 straight games.
Yes, close enough. We'll go with it.
Right?
It's just right. Just keep going. Keep going.
But yeah, Baltimore fans would not be happy. The way we take pride, I think, in everything that comes out of Baltimore. And for a player to play 2 or 3 straight seasons and then suddenly get Cal Ripken's nickname attached to them, people would
we
not.
be in our feelings? Would we be
so. I think
crying
we
in the club? Would we be?
I guess I don't know about crying in the club.
Would we be
but
tweeting through it? Would we be doing all of those things?
I think we'd be going after, be like, come on, he's not the.
I
Iron
don't
Man.
know what people
He's
do
not the
anymore. I
Iron
don't know
Man,
how they
right?
handle their emotions.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, it was we
would
listened to Dashboard Confessional. It was what we did when I was a kid. I don't think that these kids have any idea what that is. Which is a very important part of my life, and it makes me very sad. I think they're tomorrow night at Merriweather with Counting Crows. Also a band that nobody here has any idea who they are. That's how old I am.
I do know that one.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Dashboard Confessional.
You don't know anything about Dashboard Confessional?
No, I don't.
You remember the Spider-Man movie?
Yeah.
Vindicated. All right, I'm not going to do that. That's going to be very embarrassing for me. But I think that you're right. I think that we would be bothered by it.
Mm-hmm.
The embarrassing part for them is that this was one tweet. Nobody in Baltimore is calling Felix Bautista King Felix until now. And now we might, right? Like now out of spite because we're petty, because we might as well be driving the number 43 stock car around because we are Richard Petty. We might start doing it, but nobody in Baltimore was actually doing this. This was a
It happened
tweet,
one weekend.
one time from the Orioles account and whoever was running the Orioles account. And again, while I probably, honest to God, would have said, why? Why do that? And I think I saw that from a few Orioles fans on Twitter. They were like, what? King Felix? That's not a thing. What are we doing here? I don't think it was worth all of that. But if the entire city just sort of said, well, we're just going to take this. It's going to be our thing now. I could understand why like the people in Seattle would be a little bit bothered by that. Like, hey, that's kind of our guy, and he's kind of revered here, and I'm not sure that I want that to be the case. Whereas if it was the flip side and if it was, whoever, Taylor Trammell, who I think stinks now, playing.
Trammell or
Trammell, yeah, Taylor Trammell. Playing, there we go. You got me on one. Playing 400.
Finally.
Playing,
Taylor Trammell.
Playing 3 full seasons or 320 games, whatever Griffin thinks that it is, of consecutive games, and they started calling him the Iron Man. I think that we would be bothered.
That would
by
be
it
Iron
too.
Man, by the way, in this day and age.
In this day and age, it's about as many as you're
320.
ever going to get, right? Like, it's about as many as you're ever going to get. It doesn't justify that guy. Although, again, I would have had no problem if he just walked up and said, hey, Felix, what do you think about the Orioles calling you King Felix? And if Felix Bautista said, yeah, I don't really think I love that, then I think that he actually accomplished something. I think there would have been a warranted story to share. Hey, Felix Bautista would prefer we not, use King Felix for him because of his reverence for another player. I think that's actually an interesting story. I think there is journalistic value. Is it important in the grand scheme of life? No, not at all. No ways. But there is some value to it of like, hey, just, this thing was out there a couple weeks ago and it rubbed people the wrong way here. And so I asked Felix Bautista about it, and he said, if I'm being honest with you, I'd kind of rather not be King Felix because I care about Felix Hernandez. I think that would be of value. I think if you were doing your job and got that answer, I think you could say, I did something today. This was important. Not important. God, important. I don't know about that. What's important? We do this every day. I'm not sure that it's important. But it would have value to what it is that you do as a writer, as a reporter, to say, I talked about something relevant, I got an answer, and I think it matters. But after that, obviously, completely embarrassing. Yeah. Completely embarrassing. All right, we are going to grab a break. During the course of the show, you've prepared a couple of segments for today, correct?
Yeah.
So I've got some of these kids that want to do this for a living, and we're going to put them on the spot. And you're going to make me debate them? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Or we can see them debate each other.
All right, so give me an example. You prepared some topics, right?
Yeah.
All right, so this is good. We can find out who is prepared to debate these topics. I'll tell you how I feel about it. So give me an example of a topic.
All right, one that I like that I came up with yesterday. Should professional athletes be allowed to bet on sports?
Should professional athletes be allowed to bet on sports, just generically?
Yeah.
All right, well, that's an obvious.
Well, then you break it down, whether it's
okay, but that's not a broad topic, because I would say generically yes, but specifically no. So how do we debate that? How's one of these poor kids supposed to debate me on that when I'm already right? How are they supposed to do that? I've already told you the answer.
That is true.
Carve it into stone, pass it down from Mount Sinai, let it be known to the generations.
This is why it's tough, because you are always right.
I am always right. These poor kids don't have a chance. Who wants to debate me? Who thinks athletes should? All right, that kid right there. Come down. We'll talk to you after the commercial break. We're going to find out about I like this guy. He's kind of got a half a mullet going on. It's a party. I like this guy. I'm down. All right, we're going to debate. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'll fake my way through it anyway. We are live at the Shirley Povich Sports Journalism Summer Camp here at the Merrill College of Journalism on the campus of the University of Maryland. It is a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Catch that festival feeling in Charm City. Everywhere you go, you'll find exciting entertainment, delicious eats, and endless summertime fun. Cheer on the O's at Camden Yards, pick crabs by the waterfront, beat the heat inside a world-class museum, and make memories that will last a lifetime. Go to baltimore.org for more information and to plan your visit.
I'm Michael Giangrandy, president of AJ Michaels, your carrier energy expert for 44 years. Save money, energy, and make your home more comfortable and virus-free. Find us at ajmichaels.com. That's ajmichaels.com.
Your summer destination is closer than you think at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. With an expansive gaming floor and incredible dining options ready for you to explore, your adventure awaits. Dine at the new Coho Korean Barbecue House coming in July or on the patio at the Prime Rib. Enjoy the summertime breeze at Orchid Smoking Patio. Limited time packages starting at $229. What are you waiting for? Book now. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All electronic tolling is here to stay in Maryland, and DriveEasyMD.com helps you cruise a little easier. We're Maryland's tolling resource, home to Easy Pass, pay-by-plate, and video tolling. It's never been easier to pay your way. DriveEasyMD.com will keep you moving.
The Orioles are off and running, out to prove that last season wasn't a fluke, and they are one of the best teams in baseball. Hi, I'm Paul Valley, host of the Bat Around for PressBox. Tune in every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon as Zach Goodman and I break down every Adley bomb, every Tony Tater, and every save from the mountain. Like a warm hug from Rutschman, the Bat Around has you covered with all things Orioles as we embark on what's sure to be a magical summer in Birdland. So tune in every Saturday for the best in Orioles coverage right here on the Bat Around.
Another exciting weekend of affordable family fun at Prince George's Stadium with the Bowie Bay Sox. It starts on the 14th with our big hitter bobblehead, Connor Norby, for the first 750 fans. Saturday sees our special circus night with post-game fireworks. And Sunday features the Kobe Mayo Squish Pillow with special ticket package. Get your tickets now by calling 301-805-6000 or anytime online at baysox.com. The Bowie Bay Sox. Let us be your 9-inning vacation.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Costas Inn has been serving up delicious steamed crabs for over 50 years. Lately, the crabs you want to eat when the weather warms up have gotten harder and harder to get. So get your crab-eating game plan in place. Make sure to stick this number on your fridge, 410-477-1975. Call ahead and reserve the size crabs you want. You may be able to walk in, but you may also be disappointed at the size or maybe even get shut out altogether. So call ahead, have a plan, and then arrive on your crab-eating vacation. Costas also has delicious crab soup and crab cakes. The Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard. For more than 50 years, they've been satisfying crab lovers in and around Baltimore.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
If you need more of Glenn, you can also hear him every Sunday with Rita on 105.7 The Fan. But also, if you need more of Glenn, what's wrong with you?
Griffin, I have a bit of a problem that I'm dealing with right now.
What would that be?
You know, it's Prime Day today.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it is Prime Day.
I've been trying to get a hot tub at the Clark compound for some time, and Mrs. Clark is always like, we don't have the money, and we definitely don't have the money, and you work in sports journalism, you clearly don't have this money. But I'm on
Enter Prime Day.
Prime Day right now. They got a portable Coleman hot tub that's
Coleman?
normally $650, and it's on sale for $330.
Wow. I mean, it'd be stupid not to.
I have to, right? Like, I have to.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You do the show.
All right,
I'll be
Ian.
over here.
Ian,
we are live from the Shirley Povich Sports Journalism Summer Camp here at the University of Maryland. Today's show is brought to you by PressBoxOnline.com/offers. The best sign-up bonuses for all of your sports betting needs from all of the legal sports books here in the state of Maryland are available at PressBoxOnline.com/offers, including you can get up to $1,111 in bonus Fred bets by starting with a $50 wager from BetFred. In order to take advantage of it, you have to go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers. All right, let's meet this. We're going to give a couple of these young people here the opportunity to debate me. First on the hot seat is a young man by the name of Ian. Ian, speak right into the microphone if you would for me. It's good to see you.
What's up?
Tell me a little bit about yourself, Ian. Where are you from?
I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland.
And so yet you're an Eagles fan.
Yeah, my mom grew up in Philly.
So. All right, I guess I'll give it a pass. And obviously you were never going to become a Commanders fan because why would anyone do that? Who would want that type of hell in their life? Ian, you want to be a sports journalist?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I'm interested in, that's my dream job, would be the host of College Football Game Day.
Okay. All right.
But I would like to go into either social media or some graphic design.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. How old are you?
I'm 14.
You're 14 years old. Man. When I was 14, I did not have nearly this much of a path in my life. I was 14 years old. And I'm not even think I'm allowed to say the things that I was doing when I was 14 years old here. So you think you can debate me? You think you could win it? Because Griffin's going to score this. He's going to determine who won the debate, right?
All right?
You think you can handle a debate against me?
Sure.
But you didn't like the betting topic. You wanted something else.
Mm-hmm.
So you say you want to be the host of College Game Day one day.
Mm-hmm.
You want to replace. You think Reese Davis? You're out for blood. You're going to take that guy down, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want to debate me. You want to debate the number of teams that should be in the college football playoff.
Yes.
So at the moment, there's a 4-team college football playoff. They are going to next season move it up to a 12-team college playoff. And your opinion is?
It's a good idea.
Okay, talk me through it. Why do you think 12 teams is the right number of teams?
I think it gives more.
Wrong.
I think it gives more teams a chance to prove their.
That's stupid. You're stupid.
It gives more teams a chance because limiting it to 4 teams means you either have to go undefeated, maybe take a loss to a highly ranked team, but if you're a team like Penn State who guaranteed 2 losses to two teams.
Stay right in front of the microphone.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Like Penn State, who lose to Ohio State and Michigan every year, they're going to forever. It gives them a chance to prove they're better than some other teams.
So we want to help the losers. That's what you're saying. It's important that we help the teams that lose, that had a chance and lost. We want to benefit them.
I think it's worth giving teams that only have 2 losses a chance to go in the playoffs. I mean, you see the NFL, you can have a 9-8 record. You could have a barely winning record, and you could be in the playoffs. So I think it just gives teams more of a chance.
You think a 9-8 team is going to win the Super Bowl, though?
Nobody gives them a chance.
I see. Okay, so I'm gonna rip you apart now. I'm gonna tear you from limb to limb. The number is 8. That's the number of teams that should be in the college football playoff. And the reason why the number is 8 is because there aren't 12 teams that are worthy of winning a championship. The games matter. You have to win the games that you play. And if you can't beat Michigan and Ohio State, who aren't good enough to win the national championship, then how exactly are you supposed to beat Georgia and Alabama once you get to the playoff? You have your opportunity. You play the games. If you lose, you lose. I do think there should be more than 4 teams in the playoff because, and this is where I'll give you some credit, I think everybody deserves the chance to win a national championship. And what's bothersome is when you have an undefeated team, and I know Cincinnati got in a couple of years ago, but if Tulane, for example, had gone undefeated last year, they would not have been invited to the party. I think it's important that everyone in college football get the opportunity to win the national championship, and the only way to do that is to expand it to guarantee that all of the Power 5 conferences have their champion in, and a group of 5 representative also gets into the playoff. But those 12 teams, I mean, what the Penn State? Are you serious? Penn State? Penn State?
You said you want all Power 5 conference champions to be in the playoffs?
I do, yes, including the miserable Pac-12.
I was gonna say you think Utah could.
No, I don't think they could win, but they won their conference, and I think that winning the conference, much like if you win your conference in college basketball, you get the right to play for a championship. I think winning the conference should matter, or else why do we have conferences? Why, Ian? Why? Tell me why.
You have conferences.
Not good enough, Ian. Do better.
To break up the skill. I mean, they're all different. I don't think a Pac-12 champion, anybody in the Pac-12.
But you want to have 12 teams in the playoffs.
I don't think even
You're going to have to put a Pac-12 team in. How are you going to get 12 teams in without putting one of them in?
Because none of the Pac-12 teams can compete. Any team that is good enough, like look at LSU, right? They lost to Texas A&M. They lost to Tennessee. They lost to Georgia. But those are all good. 2 of those are good teams. And I think they deserve a chance. But Utah, let's say Utah, they're not a good team.
But okay, why are they not a good team? Because they didn't lose to Ohio State. They didn't lose to Michigan.
The Pac-12 doesn't have defense. I mean, being good in the Pac-12 means you're the best of the worst. I don't.
Best of the worst.
I mean the worst of the best. The worst of the best.
Okay, you're the worst conference champion if you win the Pac-12. Is what you're saying. So then
Power 5.
Of the Power 5, that's fair. But then you just lose, and that would be that. I would have no problem with that being the case. Everybody deserves the right to play for a title. Fairleigh Dickinson could have won the NCAA basketball championship. Do you really believe that they would have been one of the top 10 teams, and you think they would have gotten an invite to the NCAA basketball tournament? And yet, there they were stunning Purdue, correct?
I mean, so you say you...
Tied you in some knots now, huh, Ian? You weren't ready. You got to go back to 9th grade now. You're not ready for the big boy table.
But how, like...
All right, Ian, you did a great job, pal. You did a really good job. You did a good job, buddy. Give Ian a hand. Give Ian a hand. You did a good job, buddy. Well done, pal, all right? I wish you luck, all right? I'll give you some pointers. Don't be wrong. That's what I would say. No, you did a good job. You had thought that out. You were quick on your feet. At 14 years old, I would have sounded like a bumbling buffoon. You were quick on your feet. You were ready to respond every time I asked something or I responded with another point. So you did a good job there, pal. Well done. All right, that was a nice job by Ian. Who else wants to debate? Who wants a shot? All right, over here. Come on down. Come on down. We are here at the Shirley Povich Sports Journalism Summer Camp at the University of Maryland. They got young people. What's your name, man? Danny, come over here. Have a seat. We're going to give Danny a shot.
Not going to like me for much longer.
Uh-oh. You were the Cowboys fan, weren't you?
Cowboys
What
fan.
the hell is that, Danny? Where are you from?
I'm from Olney, Maryland.
Why are you a Cowboys fan?
Well, didn't you? You're the person that said that.
Yeah, there's no
why
way
would
to
you
be a Commanders
Yeah,
fan.
exactly.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I do understand that. There's no. This is. I like to do this whenever I get in the room. There's no human being in here that would admit to being a Wizards fan, would there? Okay, so there's two more than I expected there to be. All right, very good. But why the Cowboys, Danny?
Because the Cowboys, I mean, I guess.
I can't accuse you of being a front runner because they don't win. That's the good news.
They don't win, but
they don't ever win.
It's fun to buy into a team that, has a stacked
If you tell me that
roster.
your favorite baseball team is the Yankees and your favorite basketball team is the Lakers, then I'm kicking you off the set.
No.
We're not doing this any longer.
No.
What are the other teams that you root for?
Braves, and I really don't honestly have a basketball team, honestly. I just kind of follow everybody.
I feel like that's how most people are with basketball
Yeah.
anymore. I feel like you just pick a player and that's who
Right,
you,
exactly.
Griffin's actually like feigning that he's a Lakers fan because he just likes LeBron. So
I mean,
yeah.
come on, it's LeBron.
Yeah, I understand
So
that,
were
but
you
it's
a
still
Cavs
embarrassing.
fan? Were you a
No,
Cavs fan?
no. I
Yeah,
was
okay,
just a
then you're a
LeBron fan.
fraud, is what you are.
Like LeBron. He's
Debate
the
him. He's a fraud.
greatest player I've ever seen.
Danny, what's a sports opinion that you have that you feel very strongly about?
My sports opinion probably is that the Detroit Lions are going to make the playoffs this year.
Ooh, I love this. Let's get after it. Go ahead. I'll let you have first shot.
Okay. Well,
Dan, first of all, how old are you, Danny?
I'm 17.
You're 17. Where do you go to school?
I'm at Good Counsel. in
Good
Olney.
Counsel. Wow, it's produced quite a bit of talent over
Yeah,
the
Kyle
years.
Snyder
No
and-
doubt. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
The great Kyle Snyder went to Good Counsel. Absolutely, Olympic gold medalist, Kaitlyn's favorite. All right, so you are going to tell me why it is that the Lions are going to go to the playoffs, and I'm going to disembowel you afterwards. I'm going to rip you apart.
Look forward to it. Well, first off, I mean, the Lions, and I think, first of all, I think the Lions might
Lay
actually
off
trade
the
back.
weed. I'm
They
sorry,
might-
that's a Stephen A. Go
I
ahead.
think, honestly, they might trade back for Matthew Stafford, but don't worry about that.
Wow. That'd be
Maybe.
a hell of a story.
Maybe.
I would really appreciate if they would do that this week so we'd have something to talk about. That would be really good news for all of us.
But, I mean, the Lions, I mean, Dan Campbell, first of all, is one of the most exciting
Mm-hmm.
coaches, very motivating. You saw that in Hard Knocks. Aiden Hutchinson, that was a phenomenal pick at number 2, leading the defense. It's sad that Jeff Okuda couldn't really, develop into a starting quarterback. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a legitimate top 10 wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
They have...
I don't know. Boy, we'll come back to that. I don't know. I like Amon-Ra,
I think
but we'll
it's
come
top
back
10.
to it.
Maybe
We'll come back to
definitely
it.
in fantasy. Definitely in the fantasy football.
I'll keep going. I'm not going to let you...
Plus, the rest of the division is kind of meddling. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is gone. The Bears are kind of inconsistent. And the Vikings, I mean, who knows what the Vikings is. Dalvin Cook going to go to the Jets. But I think the Lions have a legitimate chance to make the playoffs because the division is weak and they have good talent.
Okay. So you're wrong, obviously. Let me start there. That's okay. People are allowed to be wrong. And Ian was wrong, and yet I still respect him. And I think he's going to have a great future ahead of him. And I think, Danny, you've got an opportunity to have a great future as well. But you're very much wrong about this. the Chicago Bears are going to win the NFC North. Now, a couple of thoughts on this. One, Justin Fields already looks like a superstar. They add in a full season of Chase Claypool, and they trade for DJ Moore to give him weapons around him. Plus, they upgrade the offensive line, which was the biggest issue a year ago. They draft Darnell Wright. They are well on their way. They replace Roquan Smith with a combination of both Edmonds and Edwards at linebacker. They are a drastically better team that was already exciting a year ago. The Lions will always eternally be the Detroit Lions, and it's a very difficult thing to do when losing is in your DNA to shake that. And you can say, well, they ended the season a year ago on, what, an 8-game win streak? And that sounds all well and good, but the games didn't matter by that point, so who the hell cares that they were winning them? The bigger issue, as you brought up, Jared Goff is, I think, a better quarterback than people give him credit for. We like to pretend like he never led a team to a Super Bowl. We like to pretend like that never happened, and probably a game that they should have won, although he did not perform particularly well in that game. It was maybe the worst Super Bowl ever played. Jared Goff's talented. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a nice player. He's certainly not a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, but he is a nice player and someone I've been very high on. The loss of Jamison Williams really does hurt them to begin the season. It hurts them a great deal. They also made 2 really questionable choices in the first round of the NFL draft. I don't know what team is losing a wide receiver and then spending their first 2 draft picks at running back and inside linebacker when they already had a running back, and unless you're Roquan Smith, you're not changing the game necessarily at inside linebacker. No one believed Jack Campbell was a pick worthy of that spot. And again, going with the second running back in the draft with a top 15 pick, when we all know that you're going to churn through running backs and you can find talented running backs just about anywhere, is an insane decision. The division is up for grabs. I'll give you that. I will give you that there is no obvious team. I do believe it will be the Bears that win the North. I understand that the Lions are America's team all of a sudden. We're putting them out there to get run by the Chiefs by about 30 points to open the season, but they're not. Stop.
Let me ask you this. Can I ask you this? If we know the NFC...
No.
Okay. Well, we say the NFC North is kind of weak. The NFC South is just as weak.
The NFC South's atrocious.
So there are 6 teams... let's say the Bears win the North. Let's just say the Bears win the North.
You're saying there's still an opportunity to get a wild card because the conference is so bad.
Yes, there is.
You know what, Danny? You're right. You're right. I'm not going to say that very many times today, but you're right. There is still the opportunity because the conference is that bad. You would assume that if Matt Stafford can stay healthy, that St. Louis, look at me, that LA would be able to stay in the mix. I think most of us are assuming that the Niners are going to win the West. They still have to figure out when Brock Purdy will come back, and I guess the word is the Trey Lance.
Sam Darnold's the guy.
I know you're in love with. That's your guy, Sam Darnold, who apparently some people say might start if Purdy isn't ready because Trey Lance has just been that bad, which is wild to me because there were people in Baltimore that were ready to trade for Trey Lance if the Ravens weren't going to sign Lamar Jackson, and that is bonkers, badass nuts. But no, I think the 49ers are still the team to beat in the West. So if you look and say, hey, is Seattle really going to take another step forward? Did they max out on anything that they could get from Geno Smith a year ago, or can they continue to improve? That would be another team that I think will be in the playoff mix. Their secondary is obviously really good with Kobe Bryant, Tariq Woolen, both kind of coming on like crazy a year ago. But yeah, there are spots to be had. Philadelphia will likely win the East. Dallas is terrible.
Why are we so out on the Vikings?
It's weird, right? What's going on with the Vikings?
Cousins has been very inconsistent.
He has, but I mean, he's had his best season of his career last year, and
I
still got Justin
that,
Jefferson.
but you ran out your running back, and I get it. We're just talking about how running backs are replaceable, but Dalvin Cook was special to us. There's this world in which they're thinking about trading Danielle Hunter for reasons. I mean, like, sign me up, by the way. All for it if you want to ship him off. I think that, again, to the point that Danny made, and he's right, the NFC is dreadful.
Yes.
I think everybody's alive. I think everybody has an opportunity to
including
win.
the Dallas Cowboys.
Commanders are not alive, I guess we'd say. Cardinals don't have a chance.
Would you consider embracing, like, you don't have any actual connection to the Cowboys, correct?
No, I don't.
So would you consider embracing another team? Would you consider it?
Like what?
Like, I don't know. Let's just say there was an exciting quarterback who played just up the road from where you live.
Oh, Lamar Jackson.
He was super exciting. Nice guy. He's out giving ice cream to kids down in Pompano Beach over the weekend. Like, maybe you embrace the brothers to the north?
Maybe.
All right, we'll take that. Danny, good job, buddy. Well done.
Thank you so much.
All right, let me do. We'll do one more here. One more. Who else wants to shot? That guy literally stood up. He's so excited about it. You're in, man. Like, I don't know who that was. He's fired up, dude. He thinks he's got it. Also, he looks like he's in shape. I did not look like that when I was in high school. This guy looks like an athlete.
He's going to fight.
I mean, this might legitimately turn into like a jiu-jitsu of some sort. All right, what is your name?
Name is Michael Domingos.
Michael Dominguez. Where are you from?
Virginia, Northern Virginia.
What, Northern Virginia. Where do you go to school?
West Springfield High
Can you
School.
stay right on top of that microphone for me? West Springfield?
Yep, West
Are you an
Springfield.
athlete of some sort?
Yep, football.
Yeah, okay. And are you like, are you good?
I mean, yeah.
Like, are you going to have the opportunity to play collegiately?
Yeah, I'm working towards that. I mean, I'm going into my junior year, so I still got 2 more years left of high school, so I just got to keep playing through high school.
Okay.
Once I get good
Very
at that.
cool, man. Very cool. What position do you play?
Linebacker, defensive end.
Oh, boy. And I was just trashing linebackers a second
You
ago.
said defensive end, too.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Those are important. We need those. We need those guys. Michael, why are you looking to get into the world of sports journalism? What interests you about that?
Well,
most of us do this because we weren't good enough. Most of us would have liked to have been athletes. But at some point, someone tapped us on the shoulder and said, "Yeah, not going to be the path for you, dog. Not going to work."
Well, I mean, if this doesn't work out, I do want to focus on, like, football itself. Like, I could coach football,
All right.
or I could, talk about football because, I mean, that's
you feel
what I
like you
love
know
to
the game
do.
pretty well.
Yeah.
All right. Who are you a fan of?
I'm a Steelers fan.
All right, well, this was fun.
All right,
it was great being out here, guys. If you have any questions, Griffin's going to stick around and hang out with you, and we will see you tomorrow on Glenn Clark. No. I mean, you're a terrible person, obviously. I'm so sorry to have to be the one to tell you that. But, it's we'll put up with this anyway. So what is a sports opinion that you feel very strongly about?
Ooh, this is a good one.
What do you want Griffin to pull from his bag of topics?
Let's go with you first if I
All
have an
right,
idea.
Griffin, throw out from the bag of topics.
Football guy here. So one I did write down was about should we use natural grass on
You want
stadiums
me
in
to-
all professional sports? This is a big football. A lot of football players are
I have
complaining
good
about
news
this.
for all of you that are looking for a job in the sports business industry, sports media industry. I'm going to be needing a producer. So how long does this camp run? Does it go through Friday? If any of you available on Monday, please come down, prepare a resume, let me know. We have a job. That really what you thought we were going to debate?
If the Titans, who should the Titans play at quarterback this season? Will Levis, Malik Willis,
Or
Ryan
Ryan
Tannehill?
Tannehill. Do you have an opinion
All
about
right,
that?
yeah, this is a good one.
Hang on a
Okay.
second, but I need to know, because if it's the same opinion, I'm not going to debate you about it. Who do you think they should play?
I think they should give Malik Willis a chance.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Play him through the preseason. And if that doesn't work out, I mean, you got to look through like the OTAs. You got to look through the practices, see how they're improving, see who's better first. And you want if you have a younger quarterback, you want to play him through the preseason to just get him used to the game. But Ryan Tannehill is like average at best.
I don't disagree with that.
And
He's great at giving the ball to Derrick Henry.
He is good at handing the ball to Derrick Henry, and he's made a lot of money doing that. I don't know if I'm really mad at my guidance counselor for not letting me know that was an opportunity for me.
And although Malik Willis kind of struggled last year, I mean, it was his rookie year. Drafting Will Levis, I think,
He
was
didn't kind of struggle. He stunk.
well, yeah, but I mean, Peyton Manning, although he wasn't as bad as Malik Willis, he did terrible his first year.
Well, let's ease up on all that.
Well,
I mean,
but I think drafting Will Levis was a big mistake for Tennessee Titans.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll be the one. I don't know if Will Levis is going to work out or not. Here's what I know: when you take a quarterback that early in the draft, you have to play him. That's the way that it works.
Yeah.
You have that guy's got to play because you need to get that answer very quickly. While Malik Willis was a third-round pick you can afford to miss on more frequently. An early second-round pick is essentially a bonus first-round pick, right? Like
Yeah.
you're still getting one of the top 40 players in the draft. That has to work out in order for your franchise to be able to take a step forward. So you need to know the answer. Let's be honest, the Titans aren't going to win the Super Bowl this year no matter who plays at quarterback. And that's a difficult thing to say to your locker room because everybody that goes and shows up, they all believe, I mean, even West Springfield, and I hear you're terrible, but I believe, no, I'm kidding. I have no idea if you're any good or not. But the point is you're going to go in this year, and even if everybody else knew you weren't that good, you were still going to say, we're going to go shock the world, right? Like, we're going to go, beat everybody. We could beat Bishop Sycamore. Are they still around? How are we doing Bishop Sycamore? You think that's still an option?
I don't think they're around.
It's tough to tell that to a group of people. And if Will Levis goes and shows up at training camp and looks like he can't complete a pass, then it's going to be impossible for them to play him. But you have to stack the deck to give him the opportunity to play because you need to know if that pick was worth it or not. If you just decide to spend the pick that way. I said this when the Ravens drafted Lamar Jackson. Now, that was a couple picks earlier. That was the 31st pick, right? That was the year
The
there were only
last pick
30,
of the draft.
But it was the year there were only 31 picks in the first round, right? Because somebody forfeited. The Patriots were cheating or something like that.
Yeah,
That's what they always do. So they didn't have a pick. It's not that far after that we're talking about. There's not a significant difference. The moment the Ravens drafted Lamar Jackson, I said, well, you have to play him. You don't mess around with this any longer. You don't go out and say, we felt like we needed a quarterback, but we're going to stick it and see if Joe Flacco can do it anyway. Well, what if he does? What is the point of this? You drafted the quarterback. You decided you needed a quarterback. Then you need to play the guy and figure out if the guy is any good, because that pick is too important to just be wasted. You're not good enough as a team to be wasting picks that early. So whether or not Will Levis is the best quarterback right now, I don't know. But I know he's the guy they have to stack the deck to give the opportunity to play, because they need to know if that pick is going to pan out or not.
Well, here's the thing. The Titans have no wide receivers, and you
now
can
that part is Traylon Burks. Maybe we'll find out.
I mean, he's not bad, but he did pretty decent his rookie year. But that also could affect Malik, because I mean, although
to say it's not fair to judge a quarterback by their wide receivers.
Yeah,
we don't disagree about that. It's
you
not
gotta, at least you got to have a true wide receiver one to at least succeed in a team.
That didn't look like it was the problem. It looked like the problem was he couldn't make NFL throws. I mean, did you watch the Sunday night game? It was it was one of the worst games I've ever seen in the history of football.
And I think that's why Malik Willis is the answer. So the Titans go.
Oh,
you're
trying to double. What is this?
No. If I'm the Titans,
is this?
I don't think he's the answer.
No, if I'm the Titans, I want to start Malik Willis so that I get the first overall pick. And
then you're drafting another quarterback.
Yeah.
You're using a third.
Like I said, Will Levis was not a great decision. You got to go wide receiver.
Tanking after drafting a quarterback.
That is bold.
I don't run the Titans.
If
you put me in the GM chair,
Twice.
today,
Who are you debating now? What just happened here?
They drafted a quarterback.
It's like a Royal
2
Rumble
years
of
ago.
some sorts.
Last year they drafted a quarterback, so you want them to draft another quarterback?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
because they don't have a quarterback.
Look, if Caleb Williams is available, you're not going to not draft Caleb Williams.
But that means it's just a waste.
But hey, the Cardinals did that when they already had Josh Rosen. They drafted Kyler Murray, and look at how well that's turned out. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
look at that. Michael, I think that what we agree about is that Griffin's stupid, right? Like, I think that something's happened here.
What I heard.
And again, what are you doing on Monday? You available? Can you drive up to Baltimore on Monday? Do you drive, Michael?
Yeah, I drive.
All right. You available to get up to Baltimore on Monday?
Maybe.
All right, let's talk through it. We'll work it out. Good job, Michael. Way to go. All right, we'll do one more, but I need it to be, I want a female. We haven't had a Come on down. Come on down. I like this. So we're here at the Shirley Povich Sports Journalism Summer Camp. This is a very different show, obviously, for those of you that aren't here with us. We're doing a fun show where we're kind of doing some sports media teaching of some sort. What is your name? Caroline? Good to meet you, Caroline. Thanks for coming down and being bold and debating me. Yeah. I'm still going to whoop your butt. I'm not, that's the way it's going to go. Caroline, if you could scoot a little bit closer to that microphone, please talk right into it. Caroline, where are you from?
I'm from Baltimore.
You're from Baltimore. Yeah. All right, me. Fair enough. Very good. Where do you go? Where do you go to school?
I go to Genesee up in Owens
Okay,
Mills.
absolutely. I know Genesee well. Very cool.
Yeah.
Who do you root for? You're a Ravens fan? You an Orioles fan?
Yes, I'm a Ravens fan.
Finally, a decent person. It took all day for us to find someone who has taste, and I'm very glad that you're here, Caroline. Why do you want to get into sports media?
Because it's something I've loved my whole life.
Really?
My family's into it. My brother's into it. My dad's into it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Do you play sports at all? Do you?
Yeah, I play soccer and softball.
Very cool. Very cool. Is it something you're going to try to keep doing in college, or you think you're going to start?
No, I'm just going to go into sports media.
Awesome. And I'm guessing you're a Terps fan, considering you're literally wearing the shirt right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You a lacrosse fan too?
Yeah, I like the Terps.
Awesome.
Lacrosse, so,
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. All right. Do you have a sports opinion that you feel strongly about, Caroline?
That Maryland will at least make a high bowl game this year.
Ooh, at least make a high bowl game.
If not the playoffs.
Whoa!
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Yeah. Let's go for it, Caroline. Let's see. And this is painful for me because I like Maryland football. This is tough, but I think I'm going to have to take this one on. I'll let you start. Why is Maryland going to make potentially the play? It's still a 14 playoff right now for this year. All right, tell me why. Why?
Because no one's expecting them to win, and with Talia, and there's always that.
It's difficult. It's Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa.
And with him, I just think that there's always one player in the draft when you get to the draft that you don't really know is going to be there in the
You think
early
he's going to skyrocket this season?
I do think he's got a chance to skyrocket. He's got a lot of transfers. They picked up 10 transfers from the transfer.
Baltimore's own Tyrese Chambers coming into the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
I like him.
And I just think that, you know, they got the talent and on offense. I think they could put up a lot of numbers this year on offense. And with Roman Henry, Caden Prather, they got some guys on offense. Now, the offensive line is scary. But
Yes, it's very scary.
They lost a lot of players, but they do have this guy.
There's been like 1 year in the last 20 years where a Maryland quarterback has played the entire season. It's a terrifying, terrifying thing.
Yeah, it is pretty terrifying. You got a lot of guys going down with ACL injuries. But they do have this guy, I think he's very underrated, named Tamaris Walker, coming in out of McDonough.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him play. He plays for my brother's high school. He's very good.
Okay.
My brother actually told me he picked up a kid and threw him in a trash can. That's how strong he is.
I hope that we're not going to get him in trouble. Allegedly, it picked up a kid, and allegedly that was a thing that occurred. Let's make sure we say that. Caroline, I don't think they're going to make the playoff. I think that's a lot. But it is interesting because one of the sports books recently put out Maryland is going to be favored on paper in 10 of their 12 games this season, which is kind of unheard of. Like, it's something that's never happened before in Maryland football history. I think you're right that they have an opportunity to win a few more games than people give them credit for. I don't know what the line is. Griffin can pull that up, what their win total is for the season. Because a year ago, not that I'm encouraging betting, because you guys aren't legal and allowed to do it here in the state of Maryland, but if you were, like I am, I definitely put in an over-win total bet on Maryland football and felt very good about that a year ago. That all being said, I like Maryland football, and so I don't really want to debate against you because I want your energy. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Let's make hell yeah, shock the world, make the college football playoff. Let's do it, all right? Yeah. Caroline, I love that.
Look, at least it would be a great documentary.
Well, it would be a tremendous story. It'd be one of the great stories in college football history. Thanks for coming up. Yes?
You were getting plus odds on FanDuel for over 7.5 wins.
Oh! All right, I got to think about it a little bit more. I'm not sure if I'm ready to go that far because the offensive line does terrify me too. Caroline, thank you for coming up and doing this. We ended up agreeing. Well done. Good job, Caroline. All right, is this the part where you tell me that I went 4-0, that I wiped the floor with everybody, that I continue to be the king? That
I guess.
I just came up with a new name. I'm going to run this out here. I am undisputed. It's something I just came up with. I'm going to run it out there, see if I can't get it. Do you think that I can get that taken care of?
Get the word undisputed.
Yeah,
what
right?
exactly does it mean?
Trademark it. You think I can have that?
I think you might have a couple challenges, but I mean, yes, right. if you did go 4-0 as you claim you did, then I guess you shouldn't lose.
I don't care for your tone.
Okay.
I don't care for it. But I went 4-0, obviously.
More
you think some high school kids are going to beat me? You think they're going to beat me?
The Titans debate was a little close.
What?
Yeah.
You ended up turning on him. Why did I listen to you? All right, when we come back in, I want to put some of your counselors to the test. All right? I'm going to put some counselors. We have a game that we play. It's called How Old Are You, How Young Are You? I'm not sure if they know who Dashboard Confessional is.
Yeah, I guess that would be the first question.
You want to go there first?
Yeah.
Who is Dashboard Confessional? So we're going to play a game with some of the counselors here who are also student journalists at the University of Maryland. So we're going to have some fun with that. We are live here at the Shirley Povich Sports Journalism Summer Camp, which I definitely have memorized and don't need to read off a sheet every time I say it to make sure I get it right. This is Glenn Clark Radio.
The Crossover Kid is back. Enjoy a night out at Oriole Park at Camden Yards on Saturday, July 15th, when the Orioles play the Miami Marlins at 7:05. Be one of the first 25,000 fans 15 and over to receive an Orioles soccer jersey presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar. And arrive early for Early Bird Saturdays. Gates open 2 hours prior to the first pitch for happy hour, live music, and more. A variety of ticket options are available. Buy yours now at Orioles.com/tickets.
Maryland drivers, did you know you can save up to 77% on tolls with an Easy Pass Maryland discount plan? That's right, 77%. It's never been easier. Pick the plan that's right for you at driveezmd.com. We'll keep you moving.
It's a Maryland thing you wouldn't understand. Where the waves meet the shore, you will find Dorchester County. Hi, this is Jimmy Charles. When I think of Maryland, I think Dorchester County on the eastern shore where it's open for making memories. Dorchester County, it's a Maryland thing. For more info, visit www.visitdorchester.org. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah. It's a Maryland thing.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Dave Ginsburg remembers Goose as he looks back on the impact that late Tony Saragusa had both on and off the field here in Baltimore. Plus, he explains how Goose's kids are working to continue that legacy with the Goose Flights program. Also inside, Todd Karpovich profiles the path Tyler Wells has taken to becoming a star in the Orioles rotation. And you'll find a special summer travel guide with information about events and activities throughout the state. Pressbox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the O's, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
The All-America Senior Game powered by New Balance will be back at Johns Hopkins Homewood Field on July 29th. The most decorated girls and boys lacrosse players in the country have been invited to play in what is the premier lacrosse event of the year. Every college coach wants their players in this game, and if you dream of being in this game, you start by trying out for one of your regional underclass teams this summer. The best against the best. Get your tickets now at allamericalacrosse.com.
Your summer destination is closer than you think at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. With an expansive gaming floor and incredible dining options ready for you to explore, your adventure awaits. Dine at the new Coho Korean Barbecue House coming in July or on the patio at the Prime Rib. Enjoy the summertime breeze at Orchid Smoking Patio. Limited time packages starting at $229. What are you waiting for? Book now. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Costas Inn has been serving up delicious steamed crabs for over 50 years. Lately, the crabs you want to eat when the weather warms up have gotten harder and harder to get. So get your crab-eating game plan in place. Make sure to stick this number on your fridge, 410-477-1975. Call ahead and reserve the size crabs you want. You may be able to walk in, but you may also be disappointed at the size or maybe even get shut out altogether. So call ahead, have a plan, and then arrive on your crab-eating vacation. Costas also has delicious crab soup and crab cakes. The Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard. For more than 50 years, they've been satisfying crab lovers in and around Baltimore.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Check out PressBoxOnline.com every day to find daily winners and betting advice from Jeremy Kahn. And if you want some advice about life decisions that you probably shouldn't make, here's Glenn Clark.
All right, we are live today from the Shirley Povich Sports Journalism Summer Camp at the University of Maryland. If you missed it yesterday, Stan the Fan Charles, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson got together on Facebook Live to sort of do an Orioles first half recap. You can find that right now. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. So we are going to play our game, but we're going to pause a minute before we do that because Brendan Hartlove has stopped by to hang out with us. And Brendan, I don't think you know this, but I was introduced to you by someone, and I won't say who it is. I was trying to find a broadcaster to work a game, and I reached out to someone. You got to turn Brendan's mic on. You're killing it otherwise, though.
Thank
Brendan.
you.
You're just all
Thank
over
you.
it. So I reached out to somebody who is in this business, and I said, tell me somebody that you think I could hire. And they said, well, I'm going to tell you that I've got someone who's going to end up doing Monday Night Football. And I said, wow. Oh, who is this person, right? And how do I know? So I compete with them. And they said, it's this young man, Brendan Hartlove. And I was like, wow, that is high, high praise. So,
and the irony is that I've never even called a football game before. That's the one.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. So I've covered it for, video reporting and things like that. But that along with baseball is the only play-by-play I have not done.
So Brendan, first of all, your position here at Maryland is
the program coordinator for undergraduate recruitment at Merrill College.
At Merrill College, which is the journalism school here. You also were a student that did broadcasting, and you have continued to do that since graduating.
Yeah. So I graduated back in 2021, and I was in the Povich Center. I did not go to the sports journalism camp. I wish I had. I'm from Howard County, so it would have been pretty
way to
easy
screw
for
that
me to
up, right?
But yeah, so I came here and was doing sports journalism for 4 years, and absolutely loved it. I did over 100 games of play-by-play while I was here. no football.
No football,
or baseball.
apparently, yeah, right.
And so to get to 100 without even doing baseball, which plays, every single day, I was doing a lot. I did a lot with men's soccer. That's kind of been my thing forever. I grew up a Maryland soccer fan, so got to be their broadcaster for 4 years, did the national championship out in Santa Barbara in 2018 as a sophomore, which was still one of the coolest experiences of my life. And yeah, I loved doing what I did here because not only was it such a fun place to do it, but you have so many opportunities. And so when I graduated, I knew this was kind of still the place for me, the University of Maryland. It's the place where I feel most comfortable, and you're surrounded by incredible people. So I didn't want to leave just yet, and I graduated in 2021, so there weren't a ton of on-air gigs available in the sports industry at the time. It was all obviously shaken up.
Yeah, post-pandemic, it was a difficult time.
Right,
yes.
Very much so, very much so. So yeah, I kind of stayed at the university and was doing some admissions work while still doing play-by-play broadcasting here. I've hosted the radio show with Loxley a couple times, and actually got to fill in for Johnny Holiday for one game, which was very
pretty
cool.
cool.
That was very fun because I've grown up listening to Johnny Holiday my entire
He's
life.
also the best human being that's ever existed.
Yes, one of the nicest people you will ever meet. And so I got to fill in for him, did the game with Chris Nockey, and and so I'm still broadcasting for Maryland. And then the opportunity came up in February for me to come back home, and it is very good for me to be back home and kind of continue the work I'm doing here, combine my undergraduate experience with the admissions experience. And I mean, now my job is getting to help people have the same amazing experience that I had at Merrill College.
Cool.
And that is very, very rewarding for me, on top of already, getting to still do play-by-play broadcasting for Maryland and for some
awesome.
other gigs as well.
That's awesome. So the best advice that you have for this group of young people, like these people that all want to be you, what's the advice that you have for them?
Get to know everybody. And I don't necessarily mean that in a networking sense. I mean that in a sense of, if you show up to broadcast a game or work a game, introduce yourself to everybody, from your broadcast partner to every camera operator to the technical director, everybody on the crew. There's often, and I'm sure you've gotten this as well, when you kind of get the listing for the game, the play-by-play and analyst is listed as the talent. I really don't like that, because
I think it's appropriate. I think that's correct.
It is appropriate, but it also then has the camera operator and the technical director and all these other people that have an immense amount of talent to make that whole thing work. And you're not going to see them. Their names are not on the graphic, the lower third, when you start the game. So getting to know everybody, it just creates a better environment to work in. So whether that's you're doing a live game, you're doing a studio show, any of that. That's just kind of how I've approached things, and it's led to great connections, it's led to great friendships, and it's led to a better product on air because everybody's on the same page, everybody gets along. So all in all, getting to kind of know everybody on a personal level can take you a long way.
One of the things I say all the time, and you say it's not in a networking aspect. In a way, to me, everything is networking, right? In this business, everything is networking. And one of the things I say is you never know who's going to be the person giving you your next job. Right. And so one of you in this room might ultimately be somebody that I need to get a job from in the future. And again, please think kindly of me. Please think, I take it all back, Ian. You're great. You're awesome, man. You're incredible. I take it all back. Please remember me fondly when you're running a media empire and I am 50 years old and desperately trying to, get my kids to college.
And you have resumes you want to pass out after this, right?
Please.
Right.
But no, I say that all the time to people. I'm like, you have no idea what one connection is going to end up being a phone call you get down the road, and somebody says, hey, by the way, so-and-so, and you're like, who is so-and-so? How do I know so-and-so? And then you find out that they were a camera operator for a game that you did, and you happened to thank them at the end of the broadcast, and they were like, wow, that's so nice of you to have done that and to put my name out there. And so I like you because of that, and I help get you a gig. Connect with everyone. Connect with everyone that you come across in this business. It is I lost 2,000 phone numbers from my phone a couple years ago. 2,000, and I still have 3,200 contacts in my phone, and I've lost 2,000.
I don't think I know 2,000 people.
I don't know. You know the number of times that I go through my phone and I'm like, who is that?
That's the only I have.
But the point is, I try to connect with everybody, and I try to establish, I'm going to shoot you a text, and that way, at some point, if you think of me, you'll have an easy path to get back in touch with me. So I think that's tremendous advice. I like that a lot. Brendan Hartlove is with us. So Brendan, Caroline up here, she thinks that Maryland football can go to the college football playoff next year. High bowl game, if not the college football playoff.
I mean, it's a bold claim.
I like the enthusiasm.
I do as well. I'm the biggest University of Maryland athletics apologist you will ever meet. So regardless of what sport or anything, I'm going to say we can go all the way.
Absolutely.
I mean, trending upwards. The team's been trending upwards.
I think that's the exciting part about it is that you don't have to try to convince people anymore. I am, so let's go back to what I talked to you guys about at the beginning. Acknowledge things, acknowledge biases that you might have. If I have a bias, I've known Mike Locksley for 25 years. I really like Mike Locksley a great deal as a person. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to lie or that I'm going to say that I think that Maryland's going to go to the college football playoff this season. I don't think that, although, again, I'm all for it. But I like Mike Locksley, and so when he gets hired and somebody throws in my face, well, he won one game as a head coach before that, and I'm like, I understand what you're saying, but you don't understand how he resonates with people in this area, and you don't understand if you sat down and had a conversation with Torrey Smith about how much Torrey Smith cares about Mike Locksley and why he believes that you don't get those things. What they've done the last couple of seasons has given everyone around the country, whenever I have a college football person on, like, that's always the exact same thing. It's real. There's something happening here.
Right.
Now, whether that can close the gap with, the Ohio States of the world, the Michigans of the world, that doesn't feel great. It's a very difficult thing, but it's not, you don't have to lie or make something up in order to buy into clearly something is happening here.
Right, yeah, and I think that's a great point because a lot of times folks from the outside, they see the records, they see the statistics, they see the score lines, and a collegiate program, a professional program, whatever it might be, a high school team, it doesn't matter. There's so much more to it than the numbers you're going to see on the surface. And so coming in, maybe not the, biggest CV when it comes to being a head coach or anything like that, but for you to come in and kind of set that tone of the environment you want it to be, then you can start building on the performances after that. It's very difficult to have the results and try to build a culture around that because that's just not how those kinds of dynamics work. And so for Locks to come in and really, really kind of set the standard for what he wants this program to be, what he wants this to be long-term, the personalities he wants on his team, I think that is now starting to kind of develop into you're seeing the product on the field start to match that. And so coming in, laying that groundwork, I mean, like I said, I'm not a massive football guy, but I've hosted the show with Locks a ton. I'm obviously, aware of what's going on. But again, one of the nicest people you'll meet. I mean, he's just a genuinely nice guy that resonates with players, and that, like you said, that people don't understand how much that
it is
matters.
a real factor that it's hard to quantify.
Right, exactly.
Like, as a human being, how real he is.
Right.
So I've always appreciated that. You are a basketball guy.
Yes. Yes.
You got to got to work with Chris Nocky last year. I got to fill in for Johnny Holiday, which is a big deal. That's the interesting, that really, nobody saw that coming a year ago. Everybody was ready for, hey, look, give
it time.
Give it time. Yeah. And to be as competitive as they were, to lose just one game at home all season, really unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we now recalibrate expectations moving forward, because you return Jameer Young, you bring in a highly touted recruiting class with Deshaun Harris-Smith. I think there's every reason for somebody to look and say, well, if they were that good a year ago and they kept around so many of those parts and then they added to it, why shouldn't they be competing at the top of the Big Ten this year?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point because, I broadcasted the first game of the Kevin Willard era for Big Ten Plus. And so day before the game, we went, after practice and talked to him for a very long time, which was kind of one of the first, tight interviews that he's done. And it just kind of like with Locksley, hearing the way he talked and approached his philosophy for the program was very similar. And so I knew from the get-go that he is a coach that players are going to buy into. And I think that, again, that's how they performed so well last season is, it kind of was a hodgepodge for a little bit, and you didn't know what to expect. But the fact that that group came together like they did really kind of yielded some surprising results. And so, you make a good point. Like, how do you now set the expectations here? Because it's only the second season. Is it a sophomore slump kind of thing? Is it?
You also had to replace a lot of the coaching staff.
Right. That's also, which is both a good and bad thing, because you look at these coaches that are getting great opportunities because they did so well at Maryland and they're so well respected in the community. But yes, now you are part of that group, that family, sometimes cliche, but it is after, for a long season. You have to rebuild some of that, and that's not the easiest thing to do. Now, they are bringing in guys from the area. That's a big, big focus. And one of the things that Willard was saying kind of before last season is, the University of Maryland as an institution puts a lot of emphasis on Washington, D.C. because of our proximity, which is a great thing for students getting internships, for everything. But
there's also a lot of talent here, by the way.
Yes.
There's also a lot of that.
Right. But one thing that Kevin said is, Baltimore, that's still there. We don't want to neglect that and everything. So he, when he first moved to Maryland, I'm sure he's probably told this elsewhere, but his family didn't move down the same time he did. So he spent so much time just going around the state of Maryland and getting to know the area and was getting crab cakes in different places and stuff like that and really buying into the community. And I think that his kind of emphasis on the DMV area and not as much of just the D and the M and the V as well, I think that is kind of going to yield some results.
All right, that's going to end up being a debate that we can do at some point. Baltimore's not part of the DMV. We don't say that. We don't say that. That's people in DC say that. Baltimore's not part of the DMV.
Well, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Part of Maryland, though, and that's the important part.
Right, and that's kind of what I was getting at mostly.
And I think to the point about caring about Baltimore, it's funny because I've known Tavon Sadler for a very long time, and when he left and took and it's the type of thing that you can't possibly understand, but Baltimore kids want that connection.
Yeah.
They want to know. And Greg Manning spent a lot of time in Baltimore, and I love Greg. He's a really good guy. But you need someone who is more directly connected and grew up in Baltimore and understands Baltimore kids. And Ricky Harris is going to be that guy moving forward, and very smart of Kevin Willard to recognize that and say, look, I know.
Yeah.
I've got to create that connection. I've got to continue that and understand that I can't just – Baltimore kids won't just come here because you're the big school in the state of Maryland.
Right.
It's not going to work that way.
Yeah, I mean, because they're getting looks. I mean, the DMV is a hotbed for DMV and Baltimore, however you want to.
Let's make that very clear.
Yeah.
Not the Baltimore.
The Mid-Atlantic region is a kind of
Nice.
hotbed for talent,
Nice.
and so you're seeing people go to Michigan all over the country, and so it's their home state school, but there are a lot of things that have maybe led to this not being the destination for those players in the last 10 years or whatever. But, I mean, Kevin Willard and his entire staff are looking to change that. Because you're right, having somebody that knows Baltimore, not knows of Baltimore, very, very different things. So, I mean, it's very exciting what they might be able to put together this year.
All right, tell everybody about one other sport, one not football, not basketball, that you feel like they should be paying more attention to the program.
So the obvious answer coming from me is going to be men's soccer, and I think that is not only because of my experience with it, but
they're pretty good.
They're very good.
Yeah.
Sasha Surowski, the head coach, been here forever, and I think that is something, especially for students, if and when you come here, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, we're going to the football game, we're going to the basketball game." Ludwig Field at Friday nights.
the atmosphere is amazing.
The atmosphere is incredible. I mean, when they are chanting the opposing team's goalkeeper's parents' phone number, that's like a whole different. I'm not making that up. That's a whole different level of anything you'll get anywhere else. I'm not condoning that, but that's what happens. And so they're called the Crew. They sit right behind the opposing goalkeeper, literally as far away as we are right now. Yep. And some of the most creative yet still family-friendly banter coming from the crowd, and the team is excellent. I mean, Sasha's recruiting class every year is top level, and we're seeing guys go and play in the professional level too.
They know where I am. Who thinks they can call me? What kind of terrible professional leaves his phones on?
When we're talking about Maryland soccer of all things,
right?
Too. But no, I mean, that program is something that not only at the collegiate level is an absolute powerhouse, but you're seeing guys go on and play in the professional ranks. I mean, the CONCACAF Gold Cup is going on right now. Yep. If you're a sicko like me, you're glued to that. But
that game the other night was unbelievable.
It was insane.
It was unbelievable.
And the goalkeeper went to the University of Maryland. Dane St. Clair won the national championship in 2018. Yep. And then Jason Russell Rowe came off the bench up top for them, also a Maryland Terrapin. So, I mean, the U.S. has had a number of Maryland players as well. I was talking with Taylor Smythe, the SID for men's soccer, among Maryland social media guru. And we were talking about, there's probably not been another national team that's had two Terps, at the same time. We couldn't think of one. And so Taylor and I agreed that if neither of us could, probably didn't happen. But it's just, you get to, part of the benefit of being a collegiate sports fan is not only the 2 to 4 years that you get to watch the athlete in college, but following their career beyond that. And so everybody kind of really only thinks of football and basketball and baseball to an extent as well, but a little bit to a lesser extent. But yeah, it's just a fun team to buy into. I mean, they're exciting to watch. We have the World Cup coming here in 2026, so now's the time to hop on the train. And it starts, we have DC United, we have a new team in Annapolis. There's not really anything in Baltimore right now, but you get kind of a first look at guys that could be on the roster in 2026.
Before I let you go, tell everybody about the Annapolis, because I know you're involved with them. We had Dave on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and it's unbelievable. I mean, you speak of atmospheres. That's incredible what's going on there.
It is. And so the Annapolis Blues FC is a new team in the NPSL, so one of the lower divisions in the U.S. soccer pyramid, if you will. And they're in their first season, and they are doing some incredible stuff. They're playing at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, which is probably the biggest stadium that anybody in that league is using. It's been fun. It's kind of a summer league, so it's a lot of college players getting sharpness in the summer. There's 2 players from Maryland, Georgetown, American, Hopkins. So it is very community focused, not even in the team, but just in the club that they're building. They've had record turnouts. I think they hold the first, second, and third now highest attendance in NPSL history. The league's been around for 20 years. There's over 100 teams in the country. So they shattered that record by about 1,000 in their first ever home game.
That is wild.
They have over 3,000 season ticket holders. I mean, everybody in that club, it's a small group. I mean, we're on a text group chat. Like, this is not a massive organization that we're working with right now. But everything that everybody has done to be, part of this has yielded incredible results. So they, until, Sunday, were undefeated in their first regular season. They lost the last regular home game of the year. But tomorrow night's their first playoff game at Navy Marine Corps Memorial. And
there is nothing else to watch tomorrow night. There is nothing going on.
No, so you can find our stream. I'll be calling the game. We'll be on Facebook, FIFA Plus 11 Sports, wherever you want to find it. Past couple games I've been doing with Patrick Mullins, University of Maryland soccer legend. He has coaching commitments tomorrow, so it'll just be me kind of blabbering by myself.
It's always tough when you do a soccer broadcast. It's always tough doing a solo soccer broadcast.
It is. And it's kind of, I did the first
There's
several
only
games
so many
this
times
season.
you can say they're passing it through the midfield.
Right, and there's a giveaway.
Yeah, correct.
And that's part of the tough thing as well, is because this is such a smaller operation. I don't get the roster till the day before.
Oh, that is rough.
We don't get kit numbers until we don't get the numbers on the jerseys till about an hour before kickoff, because they only own so many jerseys and the guys that are rostered. So it's been, for me, from a professional standpoint, it's been a challenge, but an exciting one. It's
cool.
It's been really fun to kind of get back. And Dave Johnson, you alluded to, he's part of the ownership group. And for those, probably a lot of people in this room know Dave Johnson, the voice of DC United since '96, the voice of the Washington Wizards, and again, one of the nicest people you will ever meet in your life. So he called me up and asked if I'd be interested in calling the games. I said absolutely. And I had him on the broadcast.
Keep telling you, never know who the connection's going to be. You never know when the call's going to come from. You never know who the person's going to be that's going to hook you up with an opportunity.
That came from a mid-pandemic internship I had with DC United.
That's neat.
And
that's really neat.
So I was part of the video team, and then COVID happened. MLS was one of the first, leagues, if not the first league to start back up. And so we were responsible for all of our pregame shows. ESPN was handling the broadcast, but they asked me to come in to help with those pregame shows because they wanted somebody that could speak broadcaster.
Okay.
And so it was me, one producer, and Dave and Dev McTavish, and that was it. And so I really got to know Dave. He had actually broadcasted my dad's games way back in the 90s when he was playing. So it's very tight-knit circle here in the area in that. And so, yeah, Dave and I have developed a relationship. He's looked over a lot of my stuff. He's been a really good mentor and resource and friend to me in this business, and it leads to some pretty exciting things.
Really cool. Be Hartlove on Twitter.
Indeed, yes.
Give him a follow. Brendan, it was great. I'm glad you came in here.
Thank you
glad
for
you
having
said
me.
hi. We'll be in touch.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And when you get that gig on Monday Night Football, just remember it's Glenn 2 N's, Glenn Clark, and I'll make sure you have my number.
There we go. You
whatever
can teach
you can
me
do.
how to do football.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's how it'll go. Appreciate you coming in.
I'm a
hanging out with
football
us.
guy. So.
Oh yeah, I clearly. I like both actually. I like doing.
That's fair.
I like.
You don't
I
have to
really
pick
do.
one or the other.
I do soccer for Loyola. I do. I did DC United for a little while on the radio. I love doing soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer is a very fun. But when you get those solo broadcasts, man, they told me one time I was filling in for DC United for a playoff game, and it was radio, and it was also going to be the national broadcast on XM. And I was like, "Oh, cool. Who's the analyst?" They said, "Nope, it's just you."
Yeah, you
said,
just fake a British accent. That can be your
right.
analyst, and you'll do the play-by-play. Just go back and forth.
What'd you think about that? Wicked.
A great finish, that one.
Good to see you, Brendan. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Brendan Hartlove, give him a hand. Give him a hand. All right, Kaitlyn, I need you to pick out a counselor or two that's going to come up and play our next game. All right? I need you to call them out and say, this is the person that's perfect for this. So, all right. Ooh. We are here at the Shirley Povich Sports Journalism Summer Camp at the Merrill College of Journalism. Today's show brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. All right, first on the hot seat, who's going first? Yeah, go ahead. Tell me who you are, first of all.
Hello, my name is Dash Tischler. I'm a rising sophomore at UMD.
Where are you from, Dash?
I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Okay, very cool. Where'd you go to high school?
St. Anselm's Abbey School in Northeast D.C.
I don't even know that school. All right. That sounds very important. You are, what's your track here? What are you doing?
So I'm a journalism and Arabic studies double major.
Shoo, overachiever. Jeez. Can you speak the language?
A bit, yeah.
Okay, so if you said Glenn Clark is amazing.
I don't know actually, yeah, you can use it for amazing. I would say Glenn Clark, Mumtaz. Mumtaz.
I was thinking that myself. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. That's so great. All right, so we play a game occasionally. I'm turning 40 this September. I am old. And I'm reminded constantly of how old that I am when somebody brings up something that young people are into, and I'm like, I don't know anything about that. I don't know that at all. So every now and then we play a game called How Old Are You? How Young Are You? And it's very simple. Griffin's going to give a question to me that he thinks is something that most young people know about, that you would know. And I'll either get it or I won't get it.
Okay.
Then he's going to give a question to you about something that he thinks that most 40-year-olds would know. And you're either going to get it or you're not going to get it.
All right.
And we'll play first to three wins. All right. I'll let you have the first question as a gentleman.
All right. So for our young people, first question for you, Dash. It was Dash, right?
Yep.
Yes.
This is something that somebody my age should know.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. So can you name the 4 members of the Beatles?
Okay. John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Ringo Starr.
I mean, if you don't know that, you should be kicked out of this country, I think.
Oh, okay.
You should definitely be on the no-fly list if you don't know the names of the.
You knew it. All right.
He's got name the members of BTS because you can just keep walking. There is no chance that I am getting that one correct.
It's okay, Glenn. I don't know them either.
All right, good. I feel better now.
All right, so then we'll go to Glenn. We'll go with
name the members of Odd Future. Not gonna happen. Tyler, that's the one.
What happens after you drink the Grimace birthday shake?
All right, so I know this was a thing that was on TikTok.
Yeah.
Do you die?
I mean, is that a good enough answer?
Do I get the point?
No.
No. This is a tough crowd.
Yeah. I was okay with it.
It's like a horror movie or something, right?
Yeah. You drink it and you essentially it's a very morbid ending. Essentially, I mean, I
feel like I should get
die.
the.
I was ready.
These are children. You can overrule them.
All right, I'll give you the point.
Yeah,
yes, you do. You
All
die
right.
after you drink the Grimace birthday shake. So
I don't know anything about it though. I've never seen. I just know that it was a thing people were talking about on TikTok. That's all I know.
All right. Let's
back
go.
to Dash.
Yeah, back to Dash here. What classic novel opens with "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times"?
A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens.
That is correct.
I also feel like that's not really an age-centric thing as much as it's do you just know things?
All right. Sorry. I mean,
by the way, what do you do on Monday nights? Because I could use somebody for my trivia team. I could use somebody. We finished in second last night. We struggled on a couple of things. Do you know what 2 states the bridge through the Cumberland Gap goes through?
Cumberland Gap?
Yes.
That's Virginia, Tennessee, right?
All right. Well, you would have gotten one more point. Kentucky and Tennessee.
Dang.
And you definitely don't know some idiot who said Maryland and West Virginia.
Who said that?
Definitely. No, not anybody you know.
Okay. I don't know.
Don't know that person at all. All right, so he's up 2-1.
Yeah.
All right.
What is Baby Yoda's real name?
Grogu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah,
Good job.
I know things.
All right. It's 2-2. 2-2 here as we go back to.
This is for the win, though.
Yeah.
right?
This will be for the win.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You give him something actually difficult.
All right.
What is? How about him giving the author too? He didn't even ask for it. He was just
right. What is Voltron?
Oh, that's like a superhero, right?
I don't
Oh no, that's
steal.
Ultron. That's Ultron. Sorry, nah, I do not know. Okay,
you go with the superhero. It is not. He's a cartoon character toy from the 80s. So
that's too bad. Now watch this. Watch this.
Okay.
Is that
All
Usher?
right, all right.
How does Usher do it? How does he do that thing? The watch this meme. What does that look like?
Okay,
I just did
watch
John
this.
Cena. I just realized that's all I did
You're
there.
way off.
Yeah, right.
Let's go with what Disney Channel show did Selena Gomez get her start in?
iCarly?
That is incorrect.
They are incredulous in the audience.
Yeah.
They are flabbergasted by the fact that I didn't know it. What is it?
It's Wizards of Waverly Place.
I have never heard of that program. Never heard of it.
We'll go
Back
with
to Dash.
Yeah.
Getting a chance to win.
What movie features Lindsay Lohan hanging out with the plastics at her new school?
Oh gosh.
Oh, you better know this. You better know
man.
this.
I feel like I'm about to let you guys down. I honestly don't.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
All right.
Good for you, Glenn Coco.
I guess. Do you have an answer?
I do not have an answer. No.
Oh, that is sad. Mean Girls.
It is Mean Girls.
Oh,
Girls.
dang. Wow. Okay.
It
At a
is Mean
drive-in
Girls.
movie theater.
What, Glenn, for you, what words does Post Malone have tattooed under his eyes?
Who knows that?
Do you want to make it multiple choice?
Smelly?
No.
I was around Post Malone once. He had not bathed recently. It was an odor.
Do you want to make it
I've no.
If
I don't know.
I make it multiple choice, do you think you can get it? Are you okay if I make it multiple choice?
Sure.
Yeah, somebody's got to
I'm
win this
sorry.
game at some point.
I'm sorry. One love, true love, always tired, or stay away.
I mean, I'm sorry.
It is not. I'm sorry.
What is it?
It is always tired.
What is it? But why?
Because he's always tired. He's a grinder, I guess.
Oh God! I just want to say congratulations for you getting a win if you get this right.
Okay. Who sings the song "Hot in Here"?
Oh, come
Nelly,
on.
right?
Ah, very good. Way to go.
It is Nelly. It
All
is
right,
Nelly.
Dash.
Nelly sings "Hot in
Good
Here."
job. Well done, Dash. Thank you for coming up and hanging out.
Thank
with
you for
us.
having me.
Yes.
All right, next on the hot seat. This man has impeccable taste. I can already say that immediately.
The Orioles cap?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yes, it is. What's your name?
Avery.
Avery. Good to meet you, man. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a graduate student at Maryland. I went to Shepherd University, did my undergrad there. I was the full-time
Shepherdstown. Yeah.
West Virginia. I was the full-time play-by-play broadcaster
Cool.
for all of our teams down there. And I actually have radio experience as well. I worked in
Cool.
radio for 3 years.
Very neat. Is that the path that you're looking to continue?
Absolutely. Yes,
Awesome.
sir.
Awesome. Get out. There's no money. Get out right now. Go get a nice bank
I
job.
know.
Go
Believe
work
me.
for the government. Go
I
do
know.
anything but this. Get out right now.
I've learned.
Are you originally from Baltimore?
Yes.
Awesome. Where'd you go to high school?
Hereford High School, up north in the county.
It's where I live. That's
Really?
where and my kids probably won't go there, but they would go there. That's where they would go. The Bulls, of
Let's
course.
go Bulls.
Yeah, let's
That's
go
right.
Bulls. Absolutely. It's very neat. Now I'm going to kick your ass in this game. I get to go first on this one because I lost the last time.
All
Yeah, right.
For the how old are you?
Yes. How old are you? How
portion
young
of
are you?
this. Let's go with what? Yeah. Well, all right. I had it down here. So, what town is Stranger Things take place in?
Hawkins.
Hawkins,
Indiana.
Hawkins, Indiana. That is correct. That is correct.
right.
One's on the board. All right, over here, let's go with who voiced Mufasa in The Lion King?
I feel like I should know
You
this.
definitely should
Come
know
on.
this.
James Earl Jones.
Nicely
It
done.
is James Earl
well
Jones.
done.
There we go. Took a second. I got
Yeah,
it.
right.
All right, so
Who
Glenn.
did Mufasa in the new Lion King? I didn't
I
see
don't
it.
remember.
I did not see it.
It was bad, so
It was
I didn't
bad.
watch it.
Who did it? He did it again?
Oh wow, good for him.
I
The
forget
king of
he did.
voiceovers.
Can I admit that I did not know he was still alive? Can I admit that? Feel bad now.
Jacob Black, he's a character in what book series?
Is that supposed to be a young person question?
Yeah.
Is this a comment? Do you guys know that?
I don't read.
I've seen a lot of blank stares on that one. Maybe you don't know about young people.
Okay.
Maybe you don't.
All right.
Do I get a new one?
I guess we can give him a new one.
Literally, does anybody know the answer to that question?
No. Okay.
Not. Is it Goosebumps?
No.
All right. Oh, over here. What is it?
Twilight.
Is that the Jacob from Twilight?
Yeah, the Jacob from Twilight.
Oh, I didn't. All right, fair enough. All right, that's. I don't think. I feel like that's people.
We're struggling here, Glenn.
Like,
We're struggling.
I think
All right,
Mrs.
well, you
Clark
want to
is in the
give you
Twilight.
another one then? We'll skip
Do I
that
get
one.
another one, or should I known that one?
I guess if one person in the room knew it, then
Yeah, right.
then we'll-
All right, give me another one.
Who is this?
It looks like. I don't.
For everyone else to see.
Let me see again. Let me see again.
I know.
He's a
who
rapper.
that
He's a
is.
rapper.
Well, I figured that, but
He's not very good.
He's not very good. Yeah, but
it's not Tekashi, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
That you're giving up.
I don't know.
It is Lil Xan.
Oh God.
That's Lil Xan, the rapper. Yeah.
I just don't approve of that. The existence of that human. I don't think.
Yeah.
We're gonna
I
have a
wouldn't
good
think you
day
would.
today. You're gonna ruin my day with some Lil Xan content here.
Wretched. All right.
Goodness gracious.
What do you have for Avery?
What was potty pigeon?
Potty
I don't know what
pigeon?
potty
You don't know what
pigeon
potty pigeon
was.
is? Oh,
Griffin,
okay.
these questions
Yeah, I
need
guess
some
what-
revisions here. Okay, we need to redo
This
this.
is like very
list here, buddy.
specific to people that grew up in Carroll County. Like only.
No.
What is potty pigeon?
It was a old computer game from the 80s.
I've never heard of that.
Really?
Okay.
It's like a
Never
Commodore
heard of it.
64.
Give him a
or
real one.
something?
Give him a better one.
All right. What happens at the Black Rock Desert each year in Nevada?
The Black Rock Desert in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like it would be a place for like a music festival or something, right? Is it? Yeah. No. Maybe. Black Rock Desert in
There
Nevada.
is music, but I'm not sure that. All right, go ahead.
Would that be like Burning Man or
Damn
something?
it.
That is in fact Burning
yes.
Man. That is in fact
Yes.
Burning Man.
All
Probably
right.
gave him a little too much there.
Yeah.
Probably helped out a bit too much.
Yeah.
All
Cool.
right.
I'll take it.
It's more of like a drug festival, I believe, is what they call it.
It's
Illicit
vibing.
drugs.
You're hanging out.
Yes, something like that.
What do the kids call someone's private Instagram that only their close friends follow them on? So their private Instagram where they will post, private stuff that their friends follow, that they let their really close friends follow. It starts with an F.
So it's not OnlyFans.
No.
Oh, no. Is this a family-friendly show?
I don't know.
Usually.
Is this something I should know? Is this like a thing? Oh,
yeah, it's
boy.
been around for a while.
Oh boy.
5+ years.
Do people use it to
It's been in
like
the common vernacular. Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
All right, you know what? I'm not even gonna.
It's a Finsta.
Finsta.
Yeah, like a fake Instagram.
Fake Insta.
Yeah.
You know.
Fake Instagram.
I will
Finsta.
never know. I will never know what that's all about. All right, well, you can win if you get this one, Avery.
I want to go with man.
I was expecting more sports questions
Yeah,
here.
that is
That's
kinda
more
odd,
up my
right?
alley.
That is
You
kinda-
know?
I was supposed to
can
do
do
sports.
sports.
How old and how young?
I would have gotten most of the sports questions.
I
for
can
you
do.
young
I can do
people.
Baltimore. I can do national. Whatever you want. I
Well,
got
make
it.
one up on the fly then. Go ahead.
Make up a sports question.
I'll give him one.
Oh, okay. All right. Go
I'll
ahead.
give him one. Who was the first draft pick in Ravens history?
John Ogden.
Damn it.
Come
Game over.
on.
Good, well done.
Too
Well done.
hard.
Good job,
Yeah.
Avery.
I could name like most of the Ravens starting quarterbacks here,
Well
man.
done.
That was a layup.
Well
Jeez.
done. All right, we got to take one more break. When we come back in, we will get a tidbit and two, but to wrap up the show, Glenn Clark Radio, live from the Shirley Povich Sports Journalism Summer Camp.
It's another exciting weekend of affordable family fun at Prince George's Stadium with the Bowie Bay Sox. It starts on the 14th with our big hitter bobblehead, Connor Norby, for the first 750 fans. Saturday sees our special circus night with post-game fireworks. And Sunday features the Kobe Mayo Squish Pillow with special ticket package. Get your tickets now by calling 301-805-6000 or anytime online at baysox.com. The Bowie Bay Sox. Let us be your 9-inning vacation.
The All-America Senior Game powered by New Balance will be back at Johns Hopkins Homewood Field on July 29th. The most decorated girls and boys lacrosse players in the country have been invited to play in what is the premier lacrosse event of the year. Every college coach wants their players in this game, and if you dream of being in this game, you start by trying out for one of your regional underclass teams this summer. The best against the best. Get your tickets now at allamericalacrosse.com.
Hey Birdland, A new alternative payment method is available at Oriole Park at Camden Yards for the 2023 season. OzPay is a quick, convenient, and rewarding option to make payments at concessions and retail locations throughout the ballpark. Use OzPay to unlock rewards, special offers, and unique experiences. And with secure, contactless payment, you'll get back to your seats faster. Get started in the MLB Ballpark app or learn more at Orioles.com/OzPay. That's Orioles.com/OzPay.
Soak up summertime fun in Charm City. Enjoy only in Baltimore festivals, mouth-watering eats, and endless entertainment. Cheer on the O's at Camden Yards. Pick crabs by the waterfront. Beat the heat inside a world-class museum and make memories that will last a lifetime. Go to baltimore.org for more information and to plan your visit.
I'm Michael Jangrandy, president of AJ Michaels, your carrier energy expert for 44 years. Save money, energy, and make your home more comfortable and virus-free. Find us at ajmichaels.com. That's ajmichaels.com.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Dave Ginsburg remembers Goose as he looks back on the impact that late Tony Saragusa had both on and off the field here in Baltimore. Plus, he explains how Goose's kids are working to continue that legacy with the Goose Flights program. Also inside, Todd Karpovich profiles the path Tyler Wells has taken to becoming a star in the Orioles rotation. And you'll find a special summer travel guide with information about events and activities throughout the state. Press Box is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the O's, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
It's a Maryland thing you wouldn't understand. Where the waves meet the shore, you will find Dorchester County. Hi, this is Jimmy Charles. When I think of Maryland, I think Dorchester County on the eastern shore where it's open for making memories. Dorchester County, it's a Maryland thing. For more info, visit www.visitdorchester.org. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah. It's a Maryland thing.
If you miss anything on the show, don't forget that you can watch full episodes at youtube.com/pressboxonline, and you can download podcasts on Apple, iTunes, Amazon, and Grindr. Wait, did I say Grindr? I don't think that you would find it on Grindr. Not that I know it's on Grindr or anything, I swear. On second thought, you know what? I don't care what you think. Here's Glenn.
Don't forget, you can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly, but the only way to take advantage of that offer is to go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers and then click on the DraftKings link. We are winding down. We've been hanging out today at the Shirley Povich Sports Journalism Summer Camp here at the Merrill College at the University of Maryland. It's been great having us, it's been great having us. I'm speaking on their behalf. I'm looking out. That young man does not think so. That young man right there is like, yeah, it's been okay. I've had better, is what that young man was thinking. But we've appreciated being out here. Let's wind down for the day. We get a tidbit of the day from Griffin to wind things down. Tidbit is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
We were talking about him yesterday. We were watching him yesterday. Christopher Eubanks.
So excited. I'm so all in.
Yes, he is the third Black American man to reach the quarterfinals at Wimbledon.
Well, Arthur Ashe, obviously.
Yes, since the start of the Open Era in 1968. He joins.
Mal Washington?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Arthur Ashe did it 3 times. Mal Washington in 1996.
Is that it? That's perfect. Look at that, man. I knocked that out of the park. Way to go.
Since 1933, there have been 3 players to rack up 15 home runs, 25 stolen bases, and 2 walk-off hits before the All-Star break in a season. So that's
really specific.
Yeah, 15
dude.
home runs,
That's
25
really
steals,
specific.
and 2 walk-off hits.
That could be anybody.
The person who did it this year.
Acuna?
No, it's Corbin Carroll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I hear
Corbin
he's
Carroll.
good.
So he joins a list of 3 other guys.
Ricky Henderson.
Not Ricky Henderson.
Well, if it involves steals, I just always assume that the answer
that's
is
a good
Ricky
guess.
Henderson.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough
Jimmy
one.
Rollins?
2011. Not Jimmy Rollins. 2011, it will be the...
Give me a team.
I believe he won the NL MVP.
2011. How am I supposed to remember who won MVP in 2011 specifically?
He was the guy who should have won MVP, and then Ryan Braun won it. It was Matt Kemp.
Okay,
Matt Kemp.
All right, he was
Matt
very
Kemp.
good.
Yes, in 2011 he was very
Kinda
good.
fell
And
off
then
the
in
face of the planet.
1973.
Oh, I was just thinking about that the other day. 1973, who stole a bunch of bases before the All-Star break? Maury Wills.
Bobby Bonds.
Bobby Bonds.
So Corbin
He's
Carroll,
good.
Bobby
All right.
Bonds, and Matt Kemp.
Remember when I got
Only
the other
three.
one right on the
Yeah.
first try? Why don't we just leave that one alone? Maybe tomorrow.
Jameson over the weekend.
We got to do
Jameson
more?
tie-in. Yeah, I got more tidbits.
Save it. Save it for
All right,
tomorrow.
let me get one more since the All-Star
All
game
right, go
tonight.
ahead.
There are two players. There are two players who have 5 All-Star selections in the American League and the National League. So there are only 2 players
that are
Ever.
on.
No, ever.
That had specifically 5?
Yeah, no, 5 or more. Like
Oh,
they've been
in
on
both
yeah,
leagues.
in both leagues. So they had 5 American League All-Star selections, 5 National League All-Star selections. 2 players.
I feel like I'm being put on the spot today.
Well, that's
I don't care for that. Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan is not one of them.
It's a
That's
little
good guess. Yeah, it
surprising.
is. There's
That's
another.
a little
one
surprising.
of them is one pitcher, one hitter.
One pitcher, one hitter. It's not Maddox because he never played in the. God, Randy Johnson.
In fact, it is Randy
Okay.
Johnson.
And then the hitter would be. 5 in the American League, 5 in the National League. Pujols.
Not Albert Pujols. Wasn't.
How is that possible?
I guess he wasn't.
He's kind of stunk in
yeah,
LA.
Good with
Yeah,
the
all right, fair
Angels.
enough. All right, tell me.
It is Frank Robinson.
Oh, maybe I should.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
that's bad.
Frank Robinson
Oh, that's
had
bad.
5 National League and American League
Oh,
All-Star
that's
selections.
really bad. All right, well, maybe if you guys want to host this show starting on Monday, that job will be available too if you're looking for it. All right, very good. Here's what's coming up tonight, totally tubular-wise. It's brought to you by the print issue of Pressbox, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox. Read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Our tribute to Tony Siragusa and his legacy right there on the cover. Incredible cover story from Dave Ginsburg. Go get it right now. Of course, the All-Star Game is tonight at 8 on Fox. Zach Gallen and Garrett Cole are the starting pitchers, and Austin Hayes is batting 7th in the American League lineup, and presumably Felix Bautista will be the last pitcher to get into the game, and we'll see when they put in Adley Rutschman, Ynier Cano. There's always the danger with somebody like Cano. I know they try to get everybody in. There's always a danger that someone doesn't get in, and Cano would be like the guy that maybe might not get in. We'll see.
Yeah, if Alex Cobb gets in, and then
I mean
Alex Cobb being an All-Star.
Orioles legend Alex Cobb.
Yeah.
Big one at Wimbledon still to come today. Rublev and Djokovic. I was just ready to completely change the man's name. Novak Djokovic. That's coming up in just a bit. Me and my guy out here are going to be watching it together. We're just going to sit in the other room, eat pizza, and watch the Wimbledon quarterfinals together. Early today, Jesse Pegula, American, lost. Everything else you can find at GlennClarkRadio.com because it's that week where there's just nothing going on. What about anything going on your
Season
end?
2 finale of the How I Met Your Father.
Oh,
Yeah, on
oh
Hulu.
man.
Yeah, that's out on Hulu.
Already?
Yeah.
It's just flown by.
America's Got Talent competing with the All-Star Game.
Sure.
That's
Okay.
on NBC. And Peacock has a docu-series, Myth of the Zodiac Killer. They're just doing a docu-series.
I feel like they've done that docuseries 18 times.
They
probably.
definitely have this one, again, just the same stuff over.
All right. It has been great being here today. Thank you all for having us. We've had a lot of fun being a part of this. Appreciate you being an attentive audience and listening and laughing at bad jokes and being participatory during our segments. We root for every single one of you guys to succeed in this business. And please feel free. Come up afterwards, get my information, and you can reach out whenever you have any questions. So it's been great being here. Thank you to my friend Kaitlyn Wilson for having us. Always appreciate you. Brendan Hartlove joined us earlier. Everybody who came up and hung out with us. We've had a great time here. Anything that we have for tomorrow's show? Or
We'll be catching up with Tim Brown, the
right.
author of the
Yep. Yeah, longtime baseball writer, and he's got the Tao of the Backup Catcher, which is a neat book that I started reading. So I'll look forward to chatting with him about that. And that's it.
Yep.
Oh, boy. It is that kind of week. It is that kind of week. Very good. All right. Thanks, everybody here. Thanks to all of our great sponsors and partners, everybody at PressBox. We will be back in studio tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday evening. Go nobody. Duke sucks.